Hey, I'm Marcus.
I'm Feta.
And I'm Rayu.
We are working class nerds.
Cue the intro.
That's right. We are working class nerds, and this is episode 249.
Of the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information.
And don't forget, if you're looking for more Nerds community content, look for the Discord link in the show notes below.
It's time. It's round 2 time. That's right. This week's episode, we've got sweet Johnny Cage back again to talk about his plans for the upcoming Elden Ring's big, giant DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree. He is the Elden Lord of all guide creators. Welcome back to the show, and what have you been up to?
Thank you all so much for having me. Lately, I've been bringing a new character through Elden Ring. I started it a few days ago with the intention of just going and killing Mohg and power leveling to like 150, and here I am playing through the entire game to completion again, because I just can't help myself, and the game is so much fun.
Wait a minute. So your intention was to just go kill Mohg and at a high level, go get the shit you want, and then go into the DLC?
Correct.
But now you're completing the whole game.
Yeah, you know, what really happened, what had happened was I got to Mohg, I killed him with a glitch to just kill him really fast, which was really fun to find, and then that gave me like 1,000,000 souls. I jumped like 30 levels, and then I was like, wait, my weapon's still at like +8. I can't bring this into the DLC. I actually have to play this game now. And I could have just like found a weapon, found spells, done a bunch of shit, but like the game's just too much fun. It's too much fun. I'm loving it again. I haven't played it in like a year and a half.
So what's your preferred weapon right now? What are you going into the DLC with?
Yeah, so here's where I'm a true masochist. Going through the game right now, I'm using a Yuji Katana, and I'm just using magic. So I've never really done a magic build, never really done an incantation build either. I typically am sword and board. But doing like Night Comet with, I don't know, the thing you put on the ground that like makes the spells stronger. I got the Radigan seal that quick casts and all that. So been enjoying that. But my plan is once the character's done and I've beaten the game and it's ready for the DLC, I will then go respec and basically just copy the build that I had my first time through the game that I made all the guides for, or made all the guides with that character. I want to copy that and then bring that into the DLC. So like it's just right, it's going right in. Because that original character is on New Game +2 or 3 right now. And so like if I were to go into, I'm assuming if I were to go into the DLC with that character, I would just get my ass kicked. My first experience with Bloodborne's DLC was on New Game +4, and that was a miserable experience because everything was one-shotting me. And yet, you know, your stats fall off at a certain point, so you're just kind of eating it. So I want to avoid that, so I'm making a new character.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've been playing anything else?
Playing a lot of Street Fighter 6, practicing for Evolution 2024 in Vegas next month. I'm hoping not to go 0-2. That's my goal. Win one match. Other than that, I started doing a Zelda Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask randomizer with somebody in my Discord. We think we're almost done. It took us a full day to find an ocarina to play any songs, which was insane. And then I still haven't found the Deku Mask in Majora's Mask, and I think we're 4 days into this game, so eventually we'll finish it. But it's a nice like online experience. Other than that, I think that's it for now.
How many people enter the Street Fighter tournament?
At EVO, a few thousand. I don't know what this year's registration number is so far. I could probably find out, but I think on average it's like 4,000 the past few
What
years.
does it cost to enter?
Yeah, so that's where it's a little frustrating, honestly. EVO, I think this year for the 3-day pass, it's $180 or something like that, and then you pay $10 for every game you want to enter. So that pass is just to get in, just as a spectator.
Yeah, it's like
a
convention.
Yeah, basically. And then if you want to enter Street Fighter 6, you pay $10. That $10 goes to the pot, and then there's pot bonuses and all that, I assume, after that. So about $200.
Okay. That's not too bad.
That's not terrible.
Yeah, I mean, for like a 3-day thing in Vegas, and like that includes a pass to the finals so you can watch and like, you know, see the top 8 for every game, and to me it's worth it. It's a hard bullet to bite, just because like back in the day Evo was $50 and now it's like almost quadruple the price. So, but inflation, economy, all that.
We go to PAX, and when I first started going 20
Nice.
years, at PAX East, Boston. When I first went 20 years ago, I think for the whole weekend, it was just Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think the 3-day pass was like $80.
Yeah, I went to
$60.
PAX East a few times too.
Yeah, 60. But now, if you pay for it, I think the 3-day pass is 170.
Yep. 167, I think,
Yeah,
is what I paid last March. So
yeah. But we're very thankful now because of the podcast. We get media passes.
That's nice.
So that is a huge thing because, we do a bunch of content for it. We get all the demos, all that stuff. It's actually pretty awesome. The only thing I want to ask is, would you say that Evo is growing or shrinking?
Growing. Certainly growing. Yeah, fighting games are in an interesting place where regional events are consolidating. So like I used to run a regional event. It still happens. It's called East Coast Throwdown, but a couple other friends run it now. And like we started that tournament with like $3,000 or $4,000. Like it really didn't cost. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's a lot of money, but like you could pull that together over the course of a year and pay it off. Like it's not that huge of a cost, and you also make up most of it through the entries. Now, if somebody wanted to start a regional tournament, they're talking tens of thousands of dollars, and it's just so expensive to run these things now. And part of that is because the players kind of demand a certain quality level, which on one hand they should. But like when I was running tournaments, we were sourcing CRT televisions from friends and grandparents and Craigslist, and just nothing was uniform. You're playing on different setups, which was fine. It was just accepted because that's how it was. But now everybody wants to play on the same monitor. They want to play, with headphone setups. They want to play with everything, and it just costs so much money to do. So the community itself is growing. Like the amount of people playing fighting games is growing. The amount of people entering events like ECT and Combo Breaker and CEO are absolutely growing. But there's just less events throughout the year to enter.
do you think it's because of that standardization that you were talking about? Or just the cost in general, probably the biggest impact?
It's just the cost. Like, I don't know how somebody could possibly get started these days. Like, I started tournaments just running them at a local arcade. It was like a mini golf go-kart kind of place. And we just used their birthday party area and packed in 100 dudes playing Street Fighter. We were not the clientele they were looking for, but we made them a bunch of money, so it was nice. And then I eventually escalated from there into like a regional tournament, like a 2-3 day long event. But I don't know how somebody could do that now.
Well, I think nowadays, if you're to do it, you're calling MSI or Gigabyte, and
Sure.
you're saying, "Hey, I'm starting a regional tournament. What could would you like to be a sponsor or help? Like, what would it cost to rent your monitors and your computers or whatever? Like, what would it cost? Or would you like to, what's the cost if you're a sponsor? Blah blah blah." And maybe they could build it that way. But I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
The reason why I asked
There are those rental companies out there. Like, you're 100% right. They're not cheap either, though.
No, of course not. But if you have a Gigabyte as a sponsor and says, "Hey, I'll donate all the monitors for you," you know what I mean, or the keyboards, whatever it may be. But the reason why I say is because this year it was very noticeable that PAX has shrunk a lot.
Really? I haven't been since like 2015 or 2016.
It was significantly smaller than the year before. And in the year before that, it was half the size. Big game companies are not showing up to these, or they lost some like investors who. It's usually at PAX. You have a few big games, and then you have an indie showcase, which is aisles and aisles and aisles and aisles of indie games that are trying to show you your game. Their game to hopefully sell them on Steam for $10. This year, there was only 2 rows of indies. In the big games or the bigger game studios, there was only a few. Like, of course, you have your Pokemon corners, and there was 2 of those, and you have some games. but it's not like what it was in years past. It was It was definitely noticeable, and I think what I'm attributing it to is with the cancellation of E3.
Yeah.
Are game companies going, do we even need to do this anymore?
Sony was one of the first ones that said no. To E3 specifically. They were like, fuck you guys, we're out.
And they were doing a lot of their own independent things per studio. We're doing showcases and things like that. But I actually just thought about this now. I wonder if it's because of the shift to like the content creators and influencers, giving them money to push their games. They don't necessarily need a convention because the following's already built.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely think that's a huge part of it. Is just you market things differently now. You no longer trying to attract like boots on the ground, especially when you do have influencers who like, Raid Shadow Legends. How is that game still going? Like, it's just the power of influencer marketing. It's a whole new world out there. Is PAX still at the Boston Convention Center?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I remember that place was jam packed. I think I went from like 2012 to 2016. I think I went for work in 2019. But even then, it was really, really packed.
Not there, like you could actually walk, which was strange.
Yeah, that's shocking.
Right?
Yeah, there was clear space, bigger spaces between the booths. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know if PAX Prime is suffering the same fate in
Which
Seattle?
one's PAX Prime?
The one in Seattle?
I don't know. So the last 3 years, they've put PAX Prime on Labor Day weekend. So flights were like $1,200 for me to go. Because again, we can, and I'm not saying this as it's a perk. We can go and get a media pass for it.
Yeah, but still, that's your hotel, that's your flight.
It's $1,200 for the flight, and each night that you stay is like $550 at least in Seattle. Seattle's an expensive city to start with, but it's because it's Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
If they did it the week after, it would be half the price. So that's why I haven't been.
The real bummer, too, is that oftentimes those contracts are signed for several years at a time. So, like, they could be locked in for, 3 to 5 years at that space. And, even though it's dwindling, it'll cost them more money to cancel it than it will to just put it on.
The nice part for this year is PAX announced that their next year's PAX is May 8th through May 11th, which that's the furthest into the spring that they've ever done for next year.
It's for PAX East?
Yeah.
Isn't that usually in March?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, braving the Boston cold for PAX was always part of the adventure.
That's the best part.
Well,
you walk outside and get whipped in the face with a 12-mile-an-hour gust.
It's right on the harbor, too.
Yeah. Seaport. So my speculation is, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe their contract was up, and they're like, hey, let's push this to spring to try to get more devs to come.
Yeah, could be.
Because if devs are coming from Germany, they're like, look we wasted flights because of a snowstorm. But I again, I'm just speculating it.
So that is actually, I just looked it up. That's actually a really good point because GDC is typically in March as well in San Francisco. So to move it into May could help them out.
Yep.
And when PAX started, GDC really wasn't nearly as big as it is now.
Well, it's become the big one.
Yeah.
That in Tokyo, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, TGS has started to, broadcast a lot more the past few years. It was always very Japanese-centric. I mean, it still is, but, publishers really weren't doing much outside communication from it. It was very much a trade show for a long time, but now it's, kind of like the Eastern E3, which is nice. And I think the ESA, really screwed up E3, but I do miss it. And, I think the last E3 I was at was 2017, and it felt like it was dying at that point. I think Call of Duty World War II was the game. That was the main draw for everybody. But yeah, it felt like it was starting to go away. And I don't think it's a good thing that it went away. I really wish there was something.
I wish Call of Duty would go away for a couple of years.
Didn't they say they were going to do that and then they didn't?
They said they were going to do it with MW3 and the latest Modern Warfare 3 but then they backtracked that, and now we have what is it? Black Ops 6 confirmed to come out, and then they said the same thing with Black Ops 6. And
Am I an idiot, or did they miss a fifth Black Ops?
I thought they did
altogether? Too. Okay, all right, because it was 1, 2, 3, then it was something else, and then it just went right to 6.
Cold War, I think Cold War that was 5.
That was 5. So
That
there's
was
Black Ops 4.
Black Ops Cold War was 5. This is Black Ops 6. I think.
Is there a Black
naming
Ops
conventions.
4 now?
There was a Black Ops 4.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, isn't it time for
makes too much money.
Well, you know what it is? I said this before. I have friends who play Call of Duty and Call of Duty only. Mm-hmm. They play it for 3 or 4 months. Every year when it comes out, they drive to GameStop. They buy it for their PlayStation 5 or their Xbox Series X. They put the disc in, and they play the Call of Duty game for the first 3 months with their buddies that they've been playing Call of Duty with for the last 15 years.
Yep.
And then they shut it off. They don't play another video game until the next Call of Duty comes out.
Yeah, I think the average consumer only buys 3 to 4 games a year.
Dang.
It's like Call of Duty, Madden, FIFA, and maybe 1 or 2 other games, like a Spider-Man or something like that.
Which
maybe
is sad.
like 4
There
or
are
5
so
a
many
year,
good games out there.
I am
Completely
so
agree.
far from the average
Yeah.
video game consumer. That's scary if it's 3.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm going to be the super dad here when I say this. So for me, I'll buy a game to support the studio. I'll straight up buy the game, never play it because I like the studio and the game is really good and I want to support. Back when like Jackie, former guest, ex-BioWare employee, was at Gearbox, now at, oh my God. What's
Broadsword?
No. What's the game that made Gears of War?
The Coalition.
I don't know.
Epic?
But anyways, it's a Microsoft studio. So now he's there. He was at Gearbox, but I bought Borderlands 3 because I'm supporting him. You know what I mean? And I never ended up playing it. But my point is that, like, for me, I would buy a game to support. But really, truly, what do I play? You know what I mean? 1 or 2 or 3 games a year.
Yeah.
I might try, like, Wayfinder I tried, for a little while. But at the end of the day, you always go back to that old reliable.
Yeah. Also, too, like, live service games have just taken over the industry. Like, I forget what I read the other day, but, like, some publishers out there are just, like, not even wanting to compete with it. It's like, not that they're not wanting to compete with it, but it's just such an obvious direction to go in that, like, it costs a lot of money up front to develop those games, but then you just continue to make money off of it rather than focusing on the sales up front and then, like, discounted sales and your typical shelf life sort of thing. Like, now it's just, let's build a live service game. And the funny thing is like, when Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, everybody forgot about King Games, which is the K in ABK. Like, that's Candy Crush. That is making more money than Call of Duty ever will because it's such a low overhead game and it just prints money worldwide.
Marcus's wife contributes to half of that, and I'm convinced.
Yeah.
She does. So,
But she's not a gamer.
She's the
no,
whale.
she's not. She's
$1,000 a month player.
No. I would say, is spending like $100 a month and not realizing it because she'll be on the couch and she'll go,
Oh my
motherfucker.
God.
Damn.
And I'll see her and I'm like, what? And then I'll get the email because our Apple stuff is always linked through PayPal. Mm-hmm. Just in case there's ever fraud, whatever. Mm-hmm. I'll see it and it'll go, thank you for your PayPal purchase of $1.99. And I'm like, what the fuck was that? And then I'll see it like twice a night. I'll go, hey, Carrie, what's the $1.99? Oh, I needed lives in Candy Crush. I couldn't beat this level. I'm like, oh my God, you're a bigger gamer than me.
Yeah.
DLC on the daily.
It's sickness.
DLC on the daily. All right. Let's try to bang through this. Rayu, what's up, man? What have you been doing?
Oh, man. I have been knee deep and neck deep and just all kinds of deep in gloom. Wayfinder Early Access is out for the Steam founders, so I've been running that game nonstop when I've had the time. Approached this very differently than I did the first time the game was out when it was a live service title. I have decided to focus on melee because I remember how much you hated melee combat in this game and felt the game was so biased towards shooters. So I said, I'm going to try it.
Most games are. Let's just face facts. You look at Elden Ring, if you're a Magic player, like a straight up wand and like you're casting, the game is immensely easier than if you're using a sword and a shield or just a sword. So
I just think it's skill issue. Anyway,
so
to up the ante, I put it on the hardest difficulty possible in the game, just to make sure I really felt the challenge. Now, again, I've beaten Elden Ring and beaten all the Souls games, so it doesn't feel that challenging compared to those. So just going into it, and I've been having a blast with it. The characters are significantly easier to collect. The weapons dropping instead of having to be crafted. Now, if you want to ascend the weapons, you do need to craft them and get the materials and stuff for it, but you can get the base version of them, so you can get the perks and the attributes and all that crap that comes with it. So it's nice. It's a very nice change of pace. I've done solo content, and I have done co-op content. It's a great game. I really think that despite the curveball that Airship was thrown with Digital Extremes pulling the publishing arm away and them making a rapid decision to take it from a live service MMO to a single player co-op, has been a fantastic decision and has made it to where I'm going to enjoy this game for years to come. Outside of that, been focusing a lot in the gym, trying to get more active in my life. I feel like everybody that has a child or has, stares in the mirror realizes you got to do something.
Gotta start training.
Yeah, gotta start training. And well, it's funny you say that. This past weekend, my wife and I entered a deadlifting competition. Our local gym does it. They do it every year. They do it for the Special Olympics. They just raise money so that way they can, help contribute to it. We get sponsors from a lot of the local shops. So we had some, food places out there. We had GNC out there. And it's just a real cool family-friendly event. They don't care if you have kids. You bring your kids. It's just a fun time. My wife had been training. She fell in love with deadlifting. She had never tried it before, but she absolutely loved it. So her first time actually competing, she managed to do a 195-pound deadlift by herself. I was so proud of her. It was great.
Wow.
To
That's pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah. I was scared. I was like, I don't know how much. I was like, oh.
You gotta be careful now. That's what
Yeah.
that means. Watch
That's
yourself.
exactly what that means. Had no idea what my max was. I did weight training in high school when I played football. I've just gone into the gym for regular stuff, not really preparing for it. But I was able to get up there to 305. So
Wow.
I was able to get
Crushing
some weight
it.
on there. I feel like I could have gone more, but I didn't want to push it too bad. So I'm excited. We've got goals for next year. She wants to try and get as close to 300 as possible. My goal is to break into 400 to 500 category to see if we can get that far. So a lot more training and eating and dieting and
training.
Pick things up, put them down.
And all in all, I send you guys text messages about it, posted in the Discord every day, counting down the days until the first Descendant is finally out, and I can lose my extra time into that game. So join the Discord, come play with us once the game's launched. We'll be on every day. Feta, what about you?
Same thing. Counting down the days. I didn't even get to play it in the technical test. I just fell in love with, the hype of the nerds community with it, spearheaded by Ryu. But it looks gorgeous, and I'm a fan of Nexon games, so how could it be bad? It cost me nothing.
So I did not play the last technical test. I was away. It was Labor Day or Memorial Day weekend, I think the test was, so I didn't have a computer. But I will say, if I could compare it to something, it's Destiny and Lost Planet.
Lost Planet.
With a feel of Warframe. The game is fantastic. It's over the shoulder, which it does take a little to getting used to, versus a first-person shooter. But the graphics are unreal. And it plays so smooth, and the boss encounters are legit. Granted, once you're in it and you've like fought these bosses 1,000 times, you may lose a little bit of its luster, but goddamn.
This is kind of like Remnant almost.
Yeah, it did remind
and-
me to it.
Yeah.
I never played Remnant.
I'm
That's a
watching
good
them
game.
fight a mech, and they're in front of a giant wall, and it looks like Armored Core 6. It's
Yeah.
really funny.
Oh.
The game is
Cool.
awesome. It also, like, the suits remind me of Anthem. You know what I mean? The Anthem
Wow.
suits. The game that
Were-
never got a chance.
Were you an Anthem player? Oh, it had a chance.
No, it fell off a cliff. That's how good of a chance it had.
Yeah, that game had
They
its
pushed
chance.
it a little
failed.
bit.
Every graphics card in America came with that game. That game had a chance.
That game, I think, again, that is a giant corporation board pushing
Yeah.
a game and saying it's ready, you need to ship it. And they're like, it's not ready. And the corporation ruined the game, not the devs. That's my opinion. Because
Yeah.
at some point, like, it's coming out now that one of the ex-Destiny community managers basically said Lightfall was 100% the corporation, and the final shape is the Bungie devs.
All I remember from Anthem, I mean, I remember a few things, but one of the gameplay reveal, whatever year that was, they would do this a bunch. They did this with the Division as well in any multiplayer game, where they would show it at E3 or something, and there would be like fake banter between players, in quotes, like the people playing the demo as part of this pre-recorded thing, and the fake banter was always ridiculous. Like, no one talks this way, and it just made it feel so stilted and like, oh, it's an open
gimmicky.
world, anything can happen. It's like, not really. It's clearly all planned, and clearly you're told to go in this direction. Like, why make this something more than it is? And like that forced banter just always killed my enthusiasm for these games.
What killed me was in one of the demos at E3, they were walking through, I'm going to call it the tower for like Destiny's tower, like the hub.
Yeah.
And when you were walking through the halls in Anthem, there were people everywhere. There were crates and like it was lively. And you get in the game and there's nothing. It was like crickets, like you saw the dust bunnies going across that Nick was following with the Imperial Dustbuster, trying to suck it up. But either way. What else, Feta?
Anyway, Feta.
Anywho, no, so I'm very excited about that. In my miniature world that I seem to live in constantly, I got this really cool product that was going viral on the internet called the Color Cube. And it's basically like, when you go to Home Depot or Lowe's and you see the wall of all the different paint chips, and they sometimes have books that say, these are going to be the hot colors this year, whatever. It has 250 little cards that have 5 colors that are supposed to complement each other really cool. And a lot of the content creators for miniature painting have been like testing it and using only those colors to create models. And I actually tried it on a set of models, and it's been like a really fun challenge to kind of really create a cohesive palette. And it takes a lot of the creative paralysis out of it, where you don't have to stare at your wall of colors and say, this is the color I'm going to pick. So I got that in the mail. It's actually on my desk right there. You see that little color thing way in the back for those of you who can.
Looks like a Rubik's Cube.
It does look like a Rubik's Cube. Or this board game called Hues and Cues, which is also a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm going to use it to start painting my absolute favorite miniatures game ever, Moonstone. They are allegedly, and big on allegedly, getting ready for their Shades of Moonreach Kickstarter, which finished up last October. It should be shipping out because last weekend was the UK Games Expo, and they're based out of the United Kingdom, so they were at the expo, and now they're going to really kick it in a high gear and getting their stuff shipped out. And not to toot my own horn, but I was the 14th backer on Kickstarter. So I should
Of course you are.
In there early.
Dude, so early. I had alarms on my phone. It didn't matter. I was getting it. So I'm hoping to get that box in the mail pretty soon. But last but not least, in preparation for this week's wonderful guest, I started playing Elden Ring.
Let's
Hell
go.
yeah. For the first time?
First time ever. I stole it
Holy
from my buddy's
shit,
Steam
I'm so
account.
excited.
I didn't even buy it. I stole it from his Steam account, and
Friends and family, friends and family, friends and family. It's all right.
yeah. It's borrowed. It's so addicting.
Yeah.
So addicting. I think I have 4 hours on it, and I just started it this week after work. Like, I started it Monday night.
That's going
What
to
time
turn
did you go
into
to
a
bed?
daily amount.
It's bad. It's bad. What'd you say, Marcus?
What time did you go to bed Monday night?
I haven't gone to bed before 1 a.m. each night this week.
That's rookie numbers.
I get up at 6.
Okay, well.
It's not good. It's not ideal. Last night I was up till 2.
I've been there.
Yeah.
In the office for 7, dude.
I find myself that what'll happen is I'll finish something and it'll be like 9:45 at night, and I'll come down to the computer and I'll just be like, I'm just gonna go explore for a little while.
Yeah, a couple bosses, couple caves.
No, and I'm like, I'm not fighting any bosses, and then I end up in this really cool misty area in the woods, and all of a sudden this giant thing with a giant head, and he starts spitting death blade at me, and I die, and I'm like, fuck, I just lost 50,000 runes. I gotta go get him again. And next thing you know, I look and I'm talking to somebody in the Discord, and it's 12:30. I'm like, God damn it! Now I have to beat this boss.
I think that's the best part about this game, especially like not knowing anything going into it, just exploring. And I'm in, what is it, Limgrave? Mm-hmm. The first area. And I was like, oh, there's a little encampment in the middle of this lake. I'll be able to take him out no problem.
Something took him out for you.
Something took him out for me. And then took me out real quick.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Wrong neighborhood.
Wrong neighborhood. There was a big lizard. Took me by surprise. And I've not been to the shores of that lake since.
Is it a big lizard or the dragon?
It was a dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was burnt to a crisp before I could even figure out what was happening. And then I it was bad.
That could be your first enemy if you wanted to.
No.
Okay.
No,
I have some
can't.
very important questions.
I gotta watch some walkthrough videos.
Dude, there's
I'll
this
take care of you.
creator. His name's Sweet Johnny Cage. He has the subtle like bass tones when he talks, and he explains the fights. And like, I'm not gonna say I haven't fallen asleep watching some of these videos. Like, it'll be like 12:30
That's the highest
at night,
praise.
and I'll put it on
It's
like
the
'cause I
sleep
have, like,
playlist.
Dude, I have like a wireless thing, and then the phone stands up, so it's not like horizontal mode, but like you see like the description. But I'll put it on, and I'll be like, Sweet Johnny Cage, today's Elden Ring, we're going to be going into Mount Gilmere. And this is the first playthrough, and then I'll just be watching it, and I'll be like, oh, I'm fighting that boss. And I'll wake up the next morning, and it'll be on like the 17th video past that. But
I do that with an Irish YouTuber named Matthew Matosis. He doesn't really make content anymore, but he had really long reviews of games, and his voice was just so calming.
yeah, I found there's a creator that does, it's Elden Ring, but he tells stories, and he straight up tells you this is for you to fall asleep. And his voice is so calm. I'll send you the link.
Please do.
I will. I'll do it now. But he tells these stories, and then afterwards it'll play like the soft Elden Ring music for like 5 minutes, and then he'll get into another story. You know, when Margit, the omen, drops down, and you're realizing why he is here to get you, and you're like, thank you. You know what I mean? All right, but back to the action. Feta, what class did you start with?
Samurai, dog.
Good.
I think everybody starts with a samurai.
It's arguably the coolest one.
It also has the best starting weapon.
Does it? I cheated real good?
No,
Oh, the
I mean,
Uji-
everything's going to kick your ass, but like the prisoner starts with the best magic. But the samurai, the Uchigatana, the fact that you could stack bleed with it and then get huge chunks of bonus damage on basically everything in the early game makes it a really good choice. So I think it's also the only one that starts with a bow.
Yeah, no, and it started with flame arrows, and I stupidly sent those into oblivion trying to figure out how to work the controller because why would I read the directions, you know? So I wasted all those.
I just sent it over to you.
But no, it's been an absolute blast.
So the Uji Katana is my favorite weapon. I am in love with the Moon Veil because it allows me to use a katana, but it also gives me a little bit of range too. So like I can still bash the boss up close, but like if I'm a little further away, I can do that, and it actually does a decent amount of damage, but it also helps me be able to hit him and then get in close for another hit. But it's also a crutch too, because then you're spamming the Moon Veil and you're leaving yourself vulnerable for getting destroyed. So there's that balance.
Risk reward, baby.
Yeah. So real quick, I've been, so you guys got to understand, I've been waiting all week because he sent me on Monday a picture of him playing like the screen of Elden Ring, but he would not tell me anything about this. Have you found a catacomb?
Yep.
What was the boss?
Oh, man, I gotta pull up this
Was it a
lovely
cat dog?
playlist. Yes, the Beastman, or no.
Beastman of Far Mazala.
Oh, no,
Yes.
that's just a beast.
I know
that
what
was
you're
just a
looking for,
cave.
Marcus.
Yeah. Did
I
you
don't
find-
think I have that.
All right. I can't wait for you to meet the first cat dog.
I fucking hate those things.
I fucking hate those things. You know what's even worse is when you have to fight two of them.
No thanks.
Can I want to be very respectful of a blind playthrough, but there is a hidden mechanic with those that I only learned about from people leaving comments on my own guides.
Ooh,
if you
let's
want to, it makes the multi fights easier. If you would like to know.
I do.
Oh, I was deep in your channel, so there's no spoiler situation. Okay. Go for it.
So crystal darts, which is something that you learn to craft much later, not much later, but later on in the game. If you throw crystal darts at the statues, any sort of golem statue, it will basically trick it. It'll mind control it, basically, and it'll attack other enemies for you for like a period of time. You got to throw like 8 or 9 at them, and then it'll like some like static will appear over their head, and then like there are boss encounters where there's 2 of them, and you just make them fight each other, and then by the time one dies, the other one has like 5 heads left. I did not know this.
Wow.
Can I say that?
I don't think that's a spoiler because
No,
I'm
but yeah,
gonna,
it's
the
like a
next
hidden
question
thing.
I'm going to ask you after whoever was starting to talk is going to blow your mind. Go ahead, whoever that was.
It was just me. I thought that was one of the best mechanics of the game where the actual enemies can kill each other, and I've made it a game within the game to every time I encounter a ballista, just I don't even hit
Yeah.
the characters. I just let it
Line 'em up.
completely shred them.
What's
It's
a
been
ballista?
almost more
What's
fun.
a ballista?
It's the big crossbow thing, like a siege weapon, where it just throws the giant
Somebody didn't play Age
bolt
of
that
Empires as a
explodes.
kid.
Yeah, wait a minute. You don't know what a ballista is?
No.
Yeah, it's like a big wooden
Crossbow.
Machine.
Ultimately.
crossbow, and it like sends a gigantic bolt flying in your direction.
Nope.
Yeah.
You've definitely gotten
Like
hit by him in Elden Ring.
Cannonball-sized arrows.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's the arrowhead.
Oh, I usually get crushed by these guys that shoot giant blue magic arrows and they stick out of you like
yeah.
8 feet, and I die.
Similar vibes.
But I don't know if you have a video made for this, but this is for the idiots out there, and idiot mean me.
Mm-hmm.
I've never crafted anything in the game because I don't know how.
You just go to the item
Did you buy
crafting
that?
menu.
Yeah, wait a minute. Do
Wait,
you have
what?
the crafting kit?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you need that.
You need to
I
buy
have
it.
it.
I didn't figure that out until 3 hours in.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
God.
I have it, but I don't even know what to do with it.
It unlocks a menu option. It'll be like not the pause menu, but you go to the start menu, and then it's like equipment, inventory, item crafting, and then in that menu you can craft all sorts of stuff. And every cookbook you buy or find, like every nomadic merchant in the game, those Santa Claus looking dudes, I believe every single one sells at least one cookbook, and each cookbook teaches you different recipes. And if you like hover over the cookbook and press square, it'll tell you exactly what that book teaches you. And then it just automatically adds those recipes into your item crafting screen. This is actually not to like take this over, but like playing the network test like a month and a half before the game came out, I was very like automatically used to the game when it came out. And so like I just blasted through Limgrave and did not really consider like what someone's like first experience with the game might be, because I had already been playing the network test for like a month and a half. Like we had a modded PS4 between me and my friend. We disabled the timer, just kept playing Limgrave over and over and over for like a month and a half. And so like these are the things that like are very good questions. Like they may seem like dumb questions, but like these are the things that I literally never consider. So like I'm taking notes with these questions.
Well,
Can I ask one too?
Well, no. I'm gonna just say
Marcus is gonna overtalk you.
It's fine.
No.
It's fine. I'm the one who's got glasses on.
Well, no, it's just one more thing.
People who can see for real can interrupt.
You know, make a video. Do it for
I
me.
should.
Yeah,
I
like,
should.
hey, this is for a new player. You don't know how to craft. This is how you do it, even if it's a short. Like, it will go somewhere because there's a million people like me that have zero idea about crafting.
I did that for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I was watching a good friend of mine who, like, I have a long-running Final Fantasy podcast that we do every so often, like every few months. And, like, I was watching him play Rebirth, and he was getting dumpstered by a boss like 3/4 of the way through the game, and I was like, how are you dying to this? Like how are you not realizing like what you need to do at this stage of the game? Like this is like 60 hours into the game. And I was like, you need to use like certain weapon abilities that the tooltip is telling you to use. He's like, what weapon abilities? And I was like, what the fuck have you been doing for 60 hours? Like how, like you get a weapon, it comes with an ability. You use the ability, you learn the ability. Like, the game is telling you this. And he's like, he had none of these. And so he had to put the game on easy in order to kill the boss. And he was so disappointed because there was no way for him to like go grind somewhere. He was just locked into this fight. And I was like, wow, like people like I've been playing games for 30 years. Like it's intuitive to me. But then like when people like I watch people or people ask me questions, I'm like, wow, like I never considered somebody wouldn't know that. And so, like, it's really good. Like, I do shit on my friend for not realizing these things because he's also been playing games for 30 years. But, like, it's really good as a guide maker to, like, get to know what people are struggling with. Because I can only guess.
I bet life would be so much easier for me if I knew how to craft stuff.
Well,
Like, I'm afraid of this thing called the Lake of Rot because I don't know how to relieve the rot.
I can
And
tell
they
you
say
exactly
it's
where the cookbook is.
Well, yeah, but they tell me I need to make these bubbles. I don't even know I don't know how to get bubbles. You know what I mean? So there's so much I don't know when it comes to the crafting stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I do cover it in the walkthrough.
But a dedicated.
So my biggest thing, and this has been around since I swear to God, the dawn of gaming. Read the goddamn screen.
The
It
game
tells
does tell you everything.
Everything. It hands it to you and says, just do this.
Elden Ring also saves those tooltips for you in a menu. You can go back to them at any time.
Okay, so what I'm going to say is yes, I'm an idiot, and I know that.
You're not an idiot.
Well, I am an idiot. No,
Just
it's
illiterate.
okay.
It's fine.
No, it's the same thing.
Can't read.
Yes,
It's simple.
Yeah, but when you're okay, so the difference is 90% of the time that I've played Elden Ring, I would be streaming. So when you're streaming, I get distracted and I'm just pushing forward to do the content. So I never took the time to look at all of these things. But again, coming back to a guy who is an idiot, that is a video I would consume as a new player, because even if you're a brand new player, an hour in, like, hey, how do I even craft?
And if you never visit that vendor, you'll never get it.
I don't even know if I have it. I have a bunch of books.
So there is a vendor. So like when you first start and you first enter Limgrave, you talk to the guy in the white mask who like giggles at you and tells you you're gonna fucking die.
In the church? Oh, no,
The church is where the
church
merchant
is where
is.
the vendor is.
Oh, I probably bought it then.
It's a little Santa Claus dude.
Yeah.
And he tells you like, not to like point this out, but he literally does, one of his dialogue options is like, what do you have for sale? Like it's to talk to him and he says, try the crafting kit. Like he tells you to buy it in voice.
Well,
like,
I'm pretty sure I bought it. I just didn't do anything with it.
When you buy it, a tooltip comes up that tells you the crafting menu is now available. But
yeah,
again,
I was probably talking to the chat.
totally
Didn't care.
understandable. It's
'Cause
like
half
the
of-
second or third option in the menu.
Well, that's the thing is half the time when I'm playing, I don't even listen to the people talking, which I do now because like,
oh, dude.
I'm too busy talking, so I'll lose some of the quests. Like
No,
I
you
had
gotta
to
be an
look
active
up
listener.
the Yuri quest. Yeah. Well, now I know that.
Well, hang on. You played SWOTOR for how many years with the voice acting that was paid for? And I remember you would go through the story and you would listen to the dialogue of the story for that. And you're going to tell me that a game that has come out, what, two years ago or so, that has voice acting paid for, you're just ignoring?
Yes.
That's a sin.
It's not Star Wars.
It's not Star Wars. Well,
I don't care.
Yeah, but it was okay. But it was before. Like now that I love the game. Anytime somebody talks, I'm listening and I'll listen to repeat it because I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? He's going in some snowfield. I haven't found any goddamn snowfields, but it's ingrained in the back of my head because now I know I have to find some snowfield.
I do wish you could repeat dialogue. Like you can usually repeat like the last thing they say, but
Yes.
like sometimes they just lore
That
dump
drives
you,
me nuts. Yeah.
and it's like, what fucking name did you just say with 9 consonants in it and 2 vowels? Like I don't know what the fuck you just said. And then luckily I record everything as I'm playing it, so I can always rewind. But it's like I would never know. Like it's crazy.
So yeah, but I didn't realize when I played it that it actually mattered. Mm-hmm. So anyway,
Tears of the Kingdom actually had a really good quality of life thing, where anytime you spoke to an NPC, granted this is a lot easier to do without voice acting, but anytime you spoke to an NPC, you could revisit their entire dialogue tree. And you could just scroll up and like read everything again if you wanted. And like
It
I
is the
wish every
best.
game would do that.
It could, especially like I only play my Switch if I'm doing like going somewhere. It's my travel system, so I will go months without playing Tears of the Kingdom, and I'll be able to pick it up and figure out where I left off. Like
It's
that is
so
the
nice.
best part.
It's so nice. Feta, I feel like you were asking a question, then we all talked over you.
It's okay. It's gone.
Was it about having a modded PS4?
Honestly, no.
it was
Okay.
about Elden. It was about Elden Ring.
Yeah, it was about something that I probably should have just,
Okay.
I should know.
Was it
by
about the
now.
network test? I feel like that's when your eyes lit up or something.
No,
All right.
It'll come back.
I don't know. Either way,
back.
I'm
It'll come
currently
back.
fighting Margit the Fellowman, and it's definitely too early for me to be fighting that guy, so
What level are you?
not high.
If you've only been playing for 4 hours, you're definitely not ready.
I am not ready for that. I get him down to half. The hammer comes out, and I dodge it twice, and then I'm toast, and that's it.
When he says, "Well, thou art of something blood, noble blood,
Tarnished nonsense.
something like that." Yeah.
It-
Thou art a passing skill, he says, and
There
then he
you go.
fucking slams you with a hammer. Oh,
big
God,
time.
he's the
He
best.
comes in the air, and I'm like, oh, I got this guy beat. And then
Yep.
I just dodge out, and I'm like, all right. And then he turns around with the sword. I'm like, oh no. And then the staff goes right through my body, and we do it again.
In the network test, he was the only story boss available. Basically, everything in Limgrave was Western Limgrave was available. Weeping Peninsula was not, but like you started the network test with like probably like 40 or 50 vigor. Like they really gave it to you, and then Margit was like pretty manageable. And then me and my friend, as we were playing, he was like, "There's no way this guy's going to be this easy. There's no way when the game comes out that we're going to have this much health or anything." Sure enough, we got the shit kicked out of us that first day. And I was like, "Okay, time to go farm. Time to go find something else."
I knew something was up when I like lose, and you have to actively enter the arena again. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I'm not supposed to be here, but I continue to do it.
You can do it. You can beat the whole game at level 1. You can do whatever you want.
Not me. Maybe somebody who's good at video games,
Well, yes.
but
It is possible.
Yes.
It is possible.
somebody can do it. It's just not this guy. But what have you been up
It's-
to, Marcus?
Well, I played Elden Ring. I think I played for 15 hours before I even tried to fight Margit. I just got, like I've always said, I never played a single player RPG. The last one I did was Mass Effect 3. And the exploration, I think this game is great for me because I have ADD. So like I'll have a marker focused on, and it'll be number 3, like a tag. And I'll be riding my noble steed, and I'll be like, ooh, there's a hill there. I'm going to go ride up that hill, and I'm going to find what's there. And in an hour and a half later, I find some bullshit, but then I find my way back, and it's like the perfect game for my ADD, because I can go on a sidebar or a sidetrack and end up back where I was anyways, because I always have that. I always pick a location that I want to be at, but then going. So wait, where's my so I beat the Shaded Castle. I talked about that last week. So I finally am at the first base camp of Mount Gilmere. I made it all the way to somewhere it's called Volcano Castle or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Volcano Manor.
Yes. So I walked into the castle, and there was this lady there.
Lady Tanith.
Okay. And she's...
Sorry, I just love all these names.
Yeah, so she's standing there with a Crucible Knight, and she goes, oh, welcome to Volcano Manor. Would you like to become one of us? And I'm like... Ooh, I feel like this is a big decision that I don't understand right now. I hit B because, we all know the Xbox is the greatest controller ever. But anyway, the point is, I was like, okay, I'm clearly not supposed to be here because I'm not supposed to answer this question now. And I know it's open world, you can do whatever, but I don't really understand it. The other thing is I don't want to fuck up my quest with my girlfriend.
They're unrelated.
Well,
I'll spoil that for you. They're unrelated. There was a girl at work Halloween 2 years ago who had an insane Ronnie cosplay. It was a full blown ass cosplay on Halloween. It was crazy.
Feta printed that for me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and painted it. That's fucking awesome. It's my favorite thing in my out of all the art in my room and everything in here. That's my favorite. But anyway,
Winter Princess Ronnie.
That means a lot. Thank you.
Oh, it's my favorite. I look at that thing all the time. Like I'll take off her hat when I'm playing a game, and then I'll put it back on and talk to her when I die. And I'm like, why aren't you giving me your awesome moon powers and letting me beat this stupid putrid tree avatar? So I'll give everybody a little funny instance. So I went into Johnny's Discord, and I was like, hey, I'm fighting this putrid avatar, and I've died 53 times, and he's still alive. And legit, I don't know why that fight was so hard, but I think it's because I was spamming the moon veil, and there was that delay for when he jumps up and drops the rot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I found that once I figured out that, like, hey, only spam the moon veil when you have to, like, use your sword to, like, hit him. Mm-hmm. It's a lot easier because you can kind of roll behind him when he drops that stuff because it's coned. It's really only facing
I never did
forward.
that.
Yeah, so, like, if you just stay on the left side of him and keep rolling every time he goes up, you'll never be in the rot.
I always just run away.
Yeah, so
and then let
I
him
did
come
that.
back
Well,
to me.
that's how I beat him. But a few times, if I spammed the moon veil and I needed to get out, I would roll to the side.
That's
you
a
can just
good
keep
idea.
rolling in a circle. But when you do that, he spams that rot like out of control.
Yeah, and like the whole zone is red, so you can't fucking see it on the ground. Like
It's
that's
there
the most
for-
infuriating part.
It's there for 4 seconds. I counted. He drops that. That's how many times I fucking died. This was not a mechanics issue. This was a skill issue.
Sure.
I would get him down, and this is my MO. Every boss I fight for the first time, I get him to like 20%.
Yep,
And then I
every
die.
time.
And then it takes me 100 tries to beat a boss.
I sometimes wonder if that is like an actual thing where like when you first spawn a boss, its AI is loading like fresh or something, and then every time you walk through the fog again, like the AI is already ready in a way.
Yes.
Like I don't know if this is true. It always feels that way to me.
Yes, it
I
is.
always either like you said, get them down to like 20% and then like fuck up something. I was like, okay, no big deal. I know how it works. And then they come out with new moves, and it's like, okay, I'll be here for an hour. Got it.
Right. What I found with the bell-bearing knight, but he had a name in the Shaded Castle,
Yes, Elimer of the Briar.
What is he called?
Elimer of the Briar.
Yeah.
His armor is really good.
Well, I don't have his armor. I got his sword and a shield. I don't know how to get his armor.
Talk to there's a lady in Round Table Hold next to the two fingers in that room. She sells you boss abilities and boss armor.
All right. Well, that's how I got Radahn's armor.
Yeah, same lady.
Okay. So that guy, he's such an asshole because I didn't think George R.R. Martin would put a fucking Jedi in the game.
Oh, yeah.
The way he throws his sword, it's like, this is just not fair. Like,
Yeah,
this
and
guy's...
appears through the smoke like Darth Vader. Like
Right. Yeah, yeah. He's basically the Sith Lord of Elden Ring. But I don't know if he's easier than the Bell-Bearing Knights.
It's the same exact fight.
Yeah, but...
They're all the same.
Exact same? No, like this guy, the Blair guy has to do more damage.
He might do more damage. Actually, the one in Kaled is the hardest. It might technically be the Dragon Barrow, but yeah, he's even harder. He will one-shot you.
Yeah. They're assholes.
Yeah.
So
agree.
I've killed 2 of them, I think. I think 2 or 1. I'm not sure. Anyway, moving on. This week on Tuesday was my last stream on Kick and Twitch. I am if I stream, it'll be on YouTube, so it goes along with the podcast being there, and it's just to focus on that. I'm not trying to be a YouTube partner. It's not that. It's just I can't dedicate the time needed for Kick and Twitch anymore. I did it for 4 years. It's time to hang it up. I had a blast. Final Shape for Destiny 2 released on Tuesday. I did the legendary campaign with my fire team. I streamed for 12 hours. It was great. Bungie's servers are just... This was the worst launch I've ever experienced for Destiny. I think out of the 12 hours, I think we spent 4 hours trying to load the next mission.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was awful. It took 2 hours to get into the strike, or to the third lost sector that you had to do. Like, I don't understand. When you have a very popular game, why aren't they calling up Amazon or whoever and just saying, hey, can I rent a few extra servers? Because we know it's going to be shit.
You know where you're probably not going to have that experience? The First Descendant.
Dude, that was cooking for a hot half hour.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting on that.
So the Final Shape, the story, incredible. I'm on the second to last mission, because the last mission isn't unlocked until somebody beats the raid tomorrow, because the Great Raid Race starts tomorrow at 10 a.m., I think, Pacific, so 1 a.m. Eastern. But
PM.
It was, a.m. a.m. It's 24 hours. So if you beat the raid in 24 hours and you're the first team to do it, you get literally a WWF Destiny raid belt. And if you finish it day one, you get a special emblem, special emblem, and I think there's something else. But anyway, and then if you beat it in the first 24 hours, you get something. But then if you beat it within the first 2 weeks, you can order yourself a raid jacket, which I they do raid jackets. Google it. Vow of the Disciple, I beat it in the first weekend, or the first week, and I ordered a raid jacket. It was pretty sweet. That jacket it's like this one was like an army style jacket. I don't know what the new one looks like. I have not seen it yet, because I'm not getting involved in the day one raid race this year.
Dude, the inside lining of this one is nuts.
Yeah. If you look up Vow
Root
of the
Nightmares?
Disciple, yeah, that's the last raid last year's. Look up Vow of the Disciple raid jacket. That's the one I got. Anyway, so the story was incredible. It's the culmination of a 10 years worth of story, and it ends here. So you're fighting the biggest, baddest boss. Supposedly it's gonna be the hardest raid ever created. Like, it's gonna be wild. But between Elden Ring and stuff, the only other thing I can say is I can't really talk about it, but I went to jury duty yesterday, and this is the first time I ever had to go to jury duty, and the first time in my life, and I got picked for a fucking case.
Oh, wow. I've still avoided it.
Shut up, Marcus!
Wait, I can say that?
We're not going over this again.
No. Listen, I didn't talk about anything. I can say I'm on a case, but that's it. I got
No,
picked.
absolutely. You
Yeah,
are picked for
I
a
got
case.
picked.
You are locked in.
Yep, I am locked in.
You are the jury of peers.
That
Yes.
poor bastard.
Yeah.
That poor bastard got Marcus on the jury.
You fired.
I was once on, like, in the room where they were interviewing jurors, and they went down this guy's, like, arrest record. And the arresting officer was my former brother-in-law's brother.
Shut up.
My sister's divorced. I like raised my hand. I was like, clear conflict. I'm out of here. I barely even knew the guy. It was just like, I know that name.
Well, they ask you all that stuff. Do you know any of the people here?
Yeah.
Any of the attorneys?
Yep.
Blah, 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 blah. They went through the list.
Yeah.
But anyways, they picked me. Anyways, Sunday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is clan night for Destiny 2. We get together, we run stuff. Now with the new content, it's going to be a lot of fun because we'll be running all the fresh new stuff. And we always end the night with a private PvP match, which is always hilarious because it's shit all over Marcus night. But it's always a great time. So normally with Nick here, you know he would have to pee. I don't have to go.
I'm sure he still has to pee.
Oh, yeah. So why don't we take a break just for Nick? We will be right back.
PAX East 2014 was $75 for 3 days. PAX East 2020 was $225 for 4 days.
Oh, there it is.
Oh my god!
Which
I did
extra-
only pay for 2 days with the 167.
Fucking ridiculous.
But here's the thing, is it was half the price. I mean, half the show. Believe it or not,
Dude,
the Expo
even
Hall-
from 23 to 24,
Yes.
it was noticeable.
Yeah, and the show itself, like, we have found that the most fun we have at the show is post Expo Hall. They fucking recorded me doing so. I love.
We're doing Steel
hold on.
Battalion next year.
Yes, we are.
First off,
That's so much fun.
Yeah. I personally love doing the what was it, Just Dance. I would walk by and tell the guys I'm doing it, but there was always a line. So then it's the end of the night. It's like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night. We just were in like the console gaming area, and where you can basically play any game. Feta and I and Nick. And we were walking by, and Feta goes, "Marcus, dance." I was like, "No, dude, I'm pooped." He goes, "No, fuck that. There's no line. You're fucking dancing. There's
There you
somebody
go.
doing it. You're going." I was like, "Guys, no." So they were like, "Yep, you're fucking doing it. We're picking the song." I was like, "Fuck you. You're picking the song. I'll pick the song." They're like, "Fine." So then Nick starts to record it of me doing it. And then I start hitting all the perfects. And they're like, "What the fuck? We can't even talk shit to him. Look at him. He's crushing it." I ended with 5 stars. Perfect.
dude fucking killed it on stage. I'm not even joking. We were like, ha ha ha, Marcus. And then, like, 30 seconds in, we were like, geez, we probably should back off on this because he's, like, fucking murdering
You never
it.
know when someone's really good at a rhythm game. You never know.
Murdered. Like, it was perfect.
I played
the
DDR
best
3
part
days a
was-
week.
Yeah, the best part is that there was a few people around it, and they all clapped for me at the end. Like, "Go, fat guy! You got it. Good job." Okay.
Ever seen
And
Precious?
we're back. So today we're talking about Shadow of the Erdtree DLC and what is next for Sweet Johnny Cage, round 2. So, Johnny, what's the channel been up to before the announcement of the release of Shadow of the Erdtree?
Good question. So this year, the channel's in an interesting place. So I've recently covered Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which was a lot of fun. It was probably the game that I was looking forward to most of like this generation, honestly. Like, I can't wait for part 3. Final Fantasy VII is a huge like
it's the greatest game ever made.
Yeah, like I played it when I was in 4th grade. Like it's the game that introduced me to RPGs. I think it's got one of the greatest stories in games. So like Rebirth, I was really looking forward to it. Loved it. But like I'm saying this number. I know it's still a big number, but I only made like 35 videos for it, and like a lot of them were for like the mini games that the game has, like the extra bosses and stuff like that. It wasn't like a regular set of coverage that I would usually do. And for like the last year, probably since May of last year, since Tears of the Kingdom, I've kind of been like considering like what I really want to be doing with this channel. Cause like I covered Tears of the Kingdom. I made almost 200 videos for it. I made a video for every single shrine, walkthroughs for every dungeon, all the bosses, everything. And I really didn't like the game that much. I think Breath of the Wild is a better game, and I think Tears of the Kingdom is like a builder game with a Zelda skin, which is fine, but that's not what I wanted. And so like I was just kind of like trying to figure out like what I want to do, and like YouTube has always like been this side thing that I've kind of wanted to turn into a career for a long time, because I would always be working some like regular 9 to 5 that was not in the games industry. But now that I'm in the games industry and like I work in esports at Riot Games, like I'm kind of fine. Like I'm pretty happy in my day job. Like I no longer need this like creative outlet to like fulfill me. So what I've decided to do is like really just cover like maybe 1 or 2 games a year with guides. And like my friends and coworkers joke around like I'm a Souls content creator, but like I have tons of other stuff on my channel, and I always laugh when people say that because it's not really true. But then like when I think about the games that I look forward to most and look forward to making content for the most, it's typically Souls games. So like I don't think I'll become a Souls YouTuber per se, but like I think it'll be like the more challenging games that I play that I think I'll probably make guides for. I haven't like arrived at like a decision, and like I've had capture hardware and all that since 2004. Like it's impossible for me not to make videos at some point. But like, yeah, just trying to figure out like what I want to be doing. But for Shadow of the Erdtree, I'm doing everything. So boss guides, puzzle guides, dungeon guides, full walkthrough. You know, I'm going to have to die before I'm finished with this thing. So
yeah. Will you play your first playthrough? Will you stream your first playthrough?
Probably not. Like I may stream parts of it. The reason I say probably not is because I'm very sensitive to like people jumping in the chat and just spoiling shit. And like, I don't like streaming with the chat off. Like that defeats the purpose for me. So I typically don't. Like my first playthrough of the base game, I didn't stream until towards the end of the game. Like until I was like almost like attempting Millennia. And like that turned into like a really funny 3-day thing where I was literally banging my head against a wall for 3 days trying to kill her. Because I don't summon, I don't use magic, I don't use weapon arts, nothing. I was just sword and shield, and that was it. And it took 3 days. That was really all I streamed. So maybe not. I'm streaming my entire playthrough right now. Like this new character that I made, I've streamed the entire thing so far, like all 35, 40 hours so far. So that's been fun, but like I don't think I'll stream right off the bat because, like I said, I've avoided all the spoilers from the previews. I don't want to know anything. I changed the Elden Ring channel in my Discord into a spoiler channel. Like I'm not even looking at it until I'm done. So like I kind of want to keep that for myself and just like talk to people about it, you know, like this. So I don't think I'll stream it. Maybe, I don't know.
How come you don't have a standard issue Elden Ring channel and then you have a spoilers channel?
I don't like splitting audiences, and I don't want to build another audience. It like how you said before, how you aren't streaming on Twitch and Kick anymore. Like I went through that same thing 2 years ago. Like I don't want to try to build an audience on a completely different platform, so I stopped streaming on Twitch. I only stream on YouTube now, and like I did the same thing. I had I think I streamed 2 or 3 nights a week on a set schedule for a full 12 months. It never grew. And I was like, well, what's the fucking point? Like, I could just stream on YouTube and the same people show up every time, and it's a great community that I can hang out with. And that's where my audience is. So let's just go there. But like, creating a second channel just feels like more work to me. And like, I do this for fun. So.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you meant in Discord, right?
Yeah. I meant in the Discord. So like, in your Discord, you had an Elden Ring channel.
Because people can't help themselves. That's why.
That's nobody is safe ever
Yeah.
in any Discord.
I made that channel, made the announcement, and then somebody posted in general chat. Granted, they spoiler tagged it so you couldn't see what they posted, but I was like, hello. Like, I just said move over here. So it's best to just ignore it. Sorry, I've completely misinterpreted that question. Oh my God, I have a Charlie horse in my leg.
Stand up. Gotta drink more water, dog.
Woo!
Dude,
That was
pounded
good.
water this whole time. This man
That
is
was
hydrated.
Good. That was a good Charlie horse. Holy shit, that hurt.
Okay. So can I tell you guys a funny story? Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to anyways.
Yeah.
That stupid asshole Jedi in Elden Ring. I was down to 10% and I got a Charlie horse and I fucking died.
Oh, did you ever wake up with one in the middle of the
No.
night? Oh, that's terrifying. It's so funny. Oh, I think I just had my leg weird. Oh, man, that was fun. Anyway,
So anyway, you mentioned earlier about New Game Plus. Do you think you're gonna go into the DLC with a New Game Plus character?
God, no. I did that in Bloodborne, and it was the worst mistake I've ever made.
Daggone.
You
Although,
said that.
from what I have seen, the very limited things that I've read from the previews, like I know how to get into the DLC. You kill Moog, and the egg does something. And then the second thing I know is that the stats for the DLC are separate. So I don't know if you like get a different currency or something, but like when you are in the DLC zones, like the stat, like you have your stats, and then there's like a gold number next to that, like plus whatever, and those are the DLC stats. And then when you leave, it just goes back to the white stats. So like, I don't know how much it will matter if you're on New Game Plus, but history has told me never to do that again.
The what is it, Miyazaki or whatever his name is?
Miyazaki, yeah.
He said if you go in New Game Plus, you're gonna be punished.
Cool. Glad I made the right choice then.
Yeah.
So, like, even with the limited information that you've kind of sheltered yourself around, what do you think you're most excited about for during this DLC?
A few things. In one of the first trailers, they showed a couple new weapon types. And it seems like there's some sort of martial arts build. I'm not sure if it's just fist weapons with weapon arts or something.
Elden Monk?
Yeah. Like,
Oh, baby.
I'm very curious what that looks like. I don't know if you guys have played Castlevania Symphony of the Night or Rondo of Blood.
Oh, wait a minute.
You never know. You never know who's played what.
That is so. Until I actually really thought about it, that's my favorite game of all time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's top 10
Right.
easy.
But then, yeah. Well, no. It was everything. But then every time I thought about my favorite game, it always came back to Mass Effect 2 because I just loved it so much.
Sure.
But Castlevania Symphony of the Night is such a classic in the sense of you go through the game and you think you beat it. And that game fucking destroyed me. All of a sudden, everything's shaking and the castle turns upside down and you're like, what just happened? And
Yep.
then you go and find the first like knight that comes at you and one-shots you.
Yeah.
You're like, what just happened?
There's an enemy in Symphony of the Night. It's also in Rondo of Blood. It's like a monk that's like sitting at a fountain, and like when you walk up to him, he like activates as an enemy, and he does some crazy fucking karate. And like that is the first thing I thought of when I saw that Elden Ring trailer.
Wow.
Of that monk flying through the air. I was like, oh, we get to play as that psycho. Great. So I don't know how in depth the skill set is or like the move set or anything, but that's interesting. I think there's great katanas or something like that. So like bigger swords maybe, which is hilarious because there's already gigantic swords. There's colossal swords in Elden Ring. I'm very curious what they're doing with the story. The story of Mikola is very interesting to me. The story goes in the base game that when Melania and Radon were fighting in Caelid, Moog stole Mikola out of the tree that Melania sits at, and then absconds with him, and then attempts to create a dynasty with him. Don't know how that works between a guy and another guy inside of an egg and blood and just all sorts of weirdness. But hey, do your thing.
It's kind of hot, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what goes on in that egg. But I'm very curious, like, what Mikola... There's such limited information about him. So I'm very curious how they're going to flesh out that character. Is he going to be a boss? Is he going to be friendly? Is he even going to appear at all? Or is he just going to be like sort of one of these characters, kind of like Marika, who we never really see except on statues and we hear about her all the time? So like, what are we going to do with him? And then, of course, like the new zones, like we talked about it before, like one of the best things about these games is just the sense of discovery that you get. I refer to this game, like games like Dark Souls and Breath of the Wild and other games, as like lobotomy games. Like I wish I could cut that part of my brain out, forget it, and play it again for the first time. That's always a thing that I look forward to most. The bosses, too, would be cool.
Yeah.
Well,
what do you think Yeah, go ahead.
Dang it, Feta! No.
I gave you the right of way here. I'm teaching civility to those of us who may not understand or be able to read.
Yeah. So speaking of the size of the game, real quick.
Wow.
We weren't even on that subject.
Well, no, you guys mentioned I heard the size of the map and exploring. This game is the DLC is supposed to be a bigger gigabyte in size than Sekiro.
Oh, like file size?
Yeah.
So what's interesting is they said a while back that the size of the map will be, I think, Limgrave.
Yeah.
Which worries me because Limgrave is it's big. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of content in it, but it is not that big, and so I'm a little worried. But given the vertical world building that they have, and how Schiefer River could be considered part of Limgrave, right? You take that elevator down from Limgrave. Is that still Limgrave? The legacy dungeons, Stormvale, is part of Limgrave, and yet that takes forever to get through. I'm choosing not to really read into it, because everything it's all relative,
I think it's going to be huge. I think it's going to be. My guess, it's going to be half the size of the current map.
I really hope so. It's been 2 years.
I think it's going to be a giant lie. He's saying there's 10 bosses. I'm expecting 20.
I'm expecting 10 story bosses.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of bosses, what do you think is the hardest boss you've had to fight?
Melania, easy. She took me 3 days. Granted, I'm a masochist and I had to beat her with a sword and shield and nothing else, and that's my prerogative. But she was definitely really hard. I don't think anything comes close to her. In Dark Souls 3, I think it's Sister Frida, just because she is crazy. But I think Melania probably takes the cake. And she's just a badass, too. I mean, she shit-talks you the whole time.
I don't even know where she is.
You'll find her eventually.
I always am afraid that one day I'm going to be walking down a hallway and I'm going to walk into her room. And
You'll know. You will know.
I don't know.
You will. It's very obvious.
We're talking about the guy who couldn't follow a tooltip and a pop-up and read it. So
yeah, she's in your crafting menu, is where she is.
He might have an idea that it's coming.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Why did you?
So, if the world is full of people like Marcus, why did you decide to try and teach these people and get into this type of content creation?
I think I might have mentioned this last time, but when I was in 5th grade, I was always known as the kid who played video games, and weirdly, I'm good at video games. It's a bizarre skill that I have, where I can play anything and be good at it. Not competitively, but single player games I can really figure out. And so in 5th grade, kids would give me their Ocarina of Time cartridges and $5, and I would beat the water temple for them. And so I also just really liked reading strategy guides. I would buy them without even using them, just because of the art and all the lore in them. And I liked it's funny, my parents always wanted me to read, but I was I don't want to read books. I want to read about video games. And so I would just read strategy guides. And my mom would go to Barnes & Noble. I would go with her, and I would just go to the player guide section and just read strategy guides for games I was never even going to play. I just loved it so much. And I was always making tutorial videos. I worked at a game store back in 2007, 2008, and I made like tutorials of like how to mod your PS2 with a flip top, how to change your DS case, how to like fix your PSP, like all sorts of stuff. And like that was the content that always did the best for us on YouTube. And so like it was pretty obvious to me that like it's evergreen, like people are always finding this stuff and everybody always needs help. And like I'm playing and recording this stuff anyway because I used to be a speedrunner, like I have always had capture software, so like and hardware, so like may as well just do it. And then it was just like the form of content that I love the most.
Backtracking a little bit. I don't know if anyone else notices this, but I follow a lot of like cooking content creators as well. Mm-hmm. And they are starting to kind of get back into the paper, I'm going to write a cookbook type thing versus just creating their YouTube content. Mm-hmm. Do you think you would ever want to venture into that and maybe create your own game guide?
Yeah, I would love to work for Future Press one day. They are like the last bastion of quality strategy guides. I know a couple of people who have worked for them before. Like they contract work a lot. So maybe one day, like I think it'd be really cool. And they weirdly seem to focus on FromSoft games, so that'd be a lot of fun. Hey, plus, they're typically playing very early builds of these games in order to write the guides, so they come out in a timely fashion. But I don't know, it'd be fun. I think it'd be cool.
It seems interesting because, like you said, like just even collecting them from an art standpoint, it's such a great thing to put on the shelf. I'm a big shelf guy.
Same.
I always collect everything, so I don't know. That'd be cool.
My entire Bloodborne walkthrough that I made 3 years ago or something, wiki sites these days tend not to be updated very often, and like information could be wrong. That's another reason I do it, is because like this happened literally, I'm not joking, this happened last night. I was trying to do, there's a character in Elden Ring called the Loathsome Dung Eater. They mentioned him in the intro credits. And like I was trying to do his quest line in a specific way to get a specific item out of it. And so I just looked it up really fast on Fexture Life, and the information was just wrong. Like it was just missing very important context. So I literally took the Future Press book off of my shelf and just read it like on stream. I was like, oh, this is what's missing. Like all of this really important information is missing. And like having that literal reference material is so nice. And like my entire Bloodborne walkthrough, I used the Future Press guides for that and the DLC because the item tables were correct. Whereas on Fexture Life, they were not. And so like the triggers to get items to show up in the shop were wrong on Fexture Life, but in this book, they're correct. And like as a guide maker, I try to remember everything, but like I can't. Like nobody can. Everybody's referencing everybody else. And so just having it like a book that you can flip to a page and just know, and you don't have to like look at a screen. Like I like the tactileness of a book. So
they have 2 of them.
They do. Yeah, it's a 2-volume thing.
Wow.
And
Get
they
the
are
PayPal.
Huge. They are huge books. They're quite
there's
heavy.
2 of them.
Yep. It's a 160-hour game, dude. You can't fit that one book.
I understand that, but like, how far does the first book get you?
The
Halfway.
capital.
Oh, dude, that's like back in those Metal Gear Solid days.
Yes.
Insert disc 2.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The Brady Games MGS1 guide had a section at the end that was the end game, and you had to open it with like a letter opener or something. It was sealed within the book itself because they didn't want you to spoil it for yourself.
Dude, something about even board games that have components that you're not supposed to look at until you get to that point. It is the best feeling ever, not only when you get to physically open that thing, but it unlocks a whole new side of what you just completed.
They used to come with
Upside-Down
posters
Castle.
too. The MGS2 guide came with a sick Yoji Shinkawa artwork poster that I had on my wall for years. So good.
It's, I'm really excited to go to the Capitol, but everybody says I got to do Mount Gilmere first.
I don't recommend that. So
That's not what your guide said.
This is the authority.
you can go to Mount Gilmere, but do not do Volcano Manor.
No, that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Sorry. Then yes, do that. But leave Volcano Manor for later. The quest line that you ran into where Tanith asked you if you wanted to join, say yes to that.
Oh.
You it doesn't mess anything up, and it sends you on a quest to do certain things that it's the only way to get certain armor and weapons, and it has no bearing on anything else that you're doing.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to go back because I have the grace in Volcano Manor, but
Yeah.
You know, it can be hard for myself to find motivation to do things. What has kept you motivated to produce guides and walkthroughs?
Well, I mean, like I was saying before, the motivation was kind of dwindling because I'm like finally happy in my day job. So motivation for me comes in from interesting places. Like when I started the channel, I was very unhappy in my day job. I was like working a 9 to 5 at a call center, like repossessing cars. Like I would research people, find their cars, call a tow truck in whatever state it was, and they would go get it, and then I would get paid. I hated it. I never want to go back to something like that. Like no shade to anybody who does that, but like that just was not bringing me happiness. I was also very underpaid, but I was like desperate for a job at the time, and that was it. So making content on the side was like, maybe this is a way I can get into the industry and like establish myself. So that was motivation for a while. Part of it is I just like the creative process. Like I love starting a new sequence in Premiere where it's blank and I got to put it together. And if it's like, I like experimenting with what I'm doing. So like I have a guide for Demon Souls remake for an NPC named Selen of the West. And I don't know why I never did this again. I think just because it was so much work. I made like a lore guide where like I told her story while guiding you on how to complete the quest. And like I made a narrative around it and everything. I usually don't script my videos. That whole thing was scripted. And I really liked the way it came out. So like I like experimenting with the art form, and I don't consider myself a very creative person. Like my YouTube thumbnails are basic as fuck. I don't have any artwork. I can't draw, I can't make music, but something about editing video is just so satisfying to me. So there's that too.
That's an art form. That's something
Yeah.
I can't do. It's a skill, and it's something you should be proud of.
Thank you. I like it. Like I like finding new tricks all the time, and I love looking up videos on how to do things. And some 12-year-old from England is telling me how to use Adobe After Effects, and I'm like, bro, slow the fuck down. I don't know what you're doing. But I just love learning it. I would say the final piece of motivation is I tend to avoid problems by working. And so like if like shit's, rough in life outside of gaming, it's like I'm just going to do that for a while and like hope this goes away, which it never does, and I have to deal with it later. But like it's avoidance tendencies a lot of the time, and I've done a lot of therapy over the last few years to like get better about that, and like I'm a lot healthier physically, so like that's part of it too, where like the motivation's kind of going away to do this, because like I was definitely escaping from my own anxiety and depression and just working and working and working and working. And now that like I've kind of gotten past a lot of that, it's like, oh, I don't really need to be doing this 24/7. Like I can sleep now. You know what I mean? Like I can enjoy things now. So there's that. But for Souls games in particular, like I think I will just always want to do this, because I know, and this is me bragging a little bit, like I know I'm good at them, and like they are very difficult games, but I love the stories that people tell, like finally killed this, finally found that. It felt so good to do this. And that's why like I'm so against like difficulty settings in these games, because it's like that is the whole point of the game, is overcoming that challenge, doing something you thought you could never do in a game, and like feeling so good about it, and then immediately getting humbled again. Like it's not over until that it says God slain at the end of that game. And even then there's probably shit you missed. Like it's just stuff like that I really love, and like that keeps me going.
That's a really good answer.
Thanks.
It's that whole pushing the boulder up the hill.
Yeah, Sisyphus, man.
It's perfect.
Keep going.
Yeah, I can respect that, because I can't, and this isn't like, I'm gonna actually like fanboy a little bit, but like I enjoy your content. Like when I am fighting a boss that there isn't a guide from you, I actually get really pissed off, because there's
what am I missing? Tell me.
No. But like, it's something stupid, or like whatever it is. I'll like search for
how to craft.
I'm making that today. I'm making it. I'm swear to God, I'm making that video today.
All right, but the big one for me is like there was a boss, and I'm like, I don't remember what it was now, and I went to your channel and I typed it in. I always type in Blair or Putrid Avatar Sweet Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
That's what I always do. And I got stuck with this guy or these people, and it's like this walkthrough or whatever it is, and they don't talk. It's just like they have it on fast forward of them just running through a path. Or there's text at the bottom saying, oh, this guy's going to do this. It's like, no, where are the subtle bass tones that I like hearing?
That's the petty part of me, is I think people do it worse. That was a big motivator for a long time, is I think I can just do it better. And, like, I fully admit that's ego. But, like, I would get so frustrated at guides where, like, I played WoW for a long time, and there's tons of, like, really cryptic secret quests in WoW that I love. But then I would watch these guides, and it's like, go here and click on this pebble, and then immediately cut. And it's like, yo, zoom in on that, dude. Like, I can't fucking see that. I'm blind. Like, tell me that where to step, what to do. And it's just like, nope, here it is. Boom, next step. It's like everybody's got to slow down. The way content is made now drives me insane. Like, there is like a petty part of me that it's like, I think I can just do this better than other people.
What I like is that you break down your guides to each section. As an example, Limgrave. Mm-hmm. Hey, today we're going to do the left side of Limgrave.
Sure.
And that's where we're going to go. And then you will take us there, and then the thing's over, and you know the next one is going to be whatever. You know what I'm saying? And for me, it helps a lot. I wish there was, personally, I wish there was a little bit more boss video, like individual, like sometimes not having to go through the walkthrough to try to find said boss.
Oh, they all exist.
Oh, maybe
there's 3 playlists on my channel. There's boss guides, puzzle guides, and the walkthrough.
And that's actually where I was going to chime in. I'll be honest, prior to you coming on and being told you were going to be the guest, I had never looked at any sort of walkthrough videos, playthroughs, anything like that. I'm just I like experiencing things firsthand and struggling with it. Once I've gotten it under my belt, I'll go back and look for things like that. But the way that you have your channel, and you can call it simple, and you have no talent or whatever you want to call it, I love it. Less is more. Every single thumbnail tells me exactly what I need. Every playlist is labeled out. It's just the information is there. I could find what I need. It's bloody fantastic.
I really appreciate that. That was like a mission of mine when I like really took this channel seriously back in 2018 with Symphony of the Night was actually the first game that I covered when they re-released that on PS4. And like, I'm going to shit on channels. Like, I don't know any names, but like when there's like a dubstep intro of like 6 seconds of like, here's the channel, and now I'm going to introduce it again. Like, it's like, yo, you don't need this. It's pointless. Like, I don't need to hear this bullshit EDM track, and I love EDM. Like, I'm a trance junkie. But when I'm looking for help in a video game, or I'm looking for how to cook something or anything, it's like, I don't need this. It's fluff. You're not helping anybody. I don't care. Just give me the information. And so like I get reached out to all the time by like MCNs, like multi-channel networks and stuff. They don't really exist so much anymore, but like people selling a service to boost my subscriber base, and it's like, I don't give a shit. Like, I have an Elden Ring guide that has over 1 million views, and I have less than 100,000 subscribers. I think that's a sign that, one, no one subscribes to guide channels, and they shouldn't. I don't care. Because 2, and again, this is me being a little braggadocious, I get paid anyway. I get paid on the view, so the sub number is meaningless. Like, it doesn't matter. And as long as you're putting out the information, people are going to find it. So,
thank you. I did not know. So, I did not know they released Symphony of the Night for the PS4.
The unfortunate thing is it's not the PS1 version, it's the PSP version. So the voice acting is different. It's not the iconic.
Marcus doesn't listen to the voice tracks unless it's
Well,
Star
then he'll
Wars.
have no problem. Don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic way to play those games, and the port of Rondo is basically an emulated PC Engine port, so it's perfect. It's so good, and Rondo is my favorite 2D Castlevania or side-scroller.
I never played
Castlevania.
it.
Hard as nails. It's one of the hardest ones, but it's so good.
Did you play Bloodstained?
Covered that game to death. Well, the 3D one or 2.5D one. I did a couple guides for Circle of the Circle of the Moon's a
Dark-
Castlevania game.
Yeah.
Whatever the 8-bit one was, the second one. I covered that as well.
Oh, Curse of the Moon.
Curse of the Moon. Yeah. The second one I made a lot of guides for.
Yeah, the first one. Oh, Ritual of the Night.
Yeah, that's like the big one.
Yeah, the new
That's
one.
the Symphony of the Night one.
Did you play that?
Yep. Yeah, I made a lot of guides for it too. A store in New York released that game like 9 days early. I drove into the city and bought it and started making guides right away. I couldn't believe it.
I can't believe that game is. Yeah. Anyways, you guys know what time it is?
Is it time for working class questions?
Working class questions. It's where the community asks us any question they want, and we attempt to answer them. I'm going to start it out real quick. Here we go. A-Track says, what's your favorite Souls-like game not developed by FromSoft? No Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, and Demon Souls.
Lies of P.
Ooh.
If you
That was
haven't played Lies of
fast.
P, they get it. That developer gets it. They understand.
I can't play it until I'm done with Elden Ring. I have Bloodborne sitting brand new.
Play Bloodborne first. Play Bloodborne first.
Well, I just ordered, like literally minutes ago, Demon Souls on the PS5 because I got an alert that it's on sale for $30.
Rare sale. Rare sale.
$30 on the PS5, and I just literally just ordered
Dude,
it a minute
that's a great
ago.
sale.
So I'm yeah. So anyways.
Lies of P, I feel so bad. I forget the name of the developer, but they understand what makes a Souls game good. It has some jank. Like, it's definitely like a first go at a Souls game, which is fine. But the story it tells, the way it tells it, the weapon variety. You get a fucking umbrella in that game, and it fucking slaps. It is so good, and like the weapon art on it is you like extend the umbrella and it becomes a shield. Like you're playing Pinocchio basically, so you're a puppet, so you get the Sekiro prosthetic. Like, it just combines so many elements of a Souls game, but it tells a very good story. It's so good.
And it's beautiful.
It is gorgeous, and there's the way it ends. It teases the next game and the DLC.
Wow.
Yeah.
So just to throw out, the developer for that one is NeoWiz Games and
NeoWiz.
Round 8 Studio.
Yeah, they're from Korea.
Radio, I want to hear that sweet tang. You tell us.
Would you consider Remnant from the Ashes a Souls-like?
Yeah.
Sure.
Then 100% Remnant from the Ashes. I could go back and play that game despite Remnant 2 being out as such a fun game. I absolutely love the world that it's in. I love the story behind it. I love the diversity in the weapon choices and how you approach it with the talent system and the little interactive base that you have and how it expands. It's just so damn beautiful.
Good choice.
I can't answer because Elden Ring's the first Souls game I've ever played.
It's heartbreaking.
What do you mean? I played SWTOR for 7 or 8 years, and then I played Destiny 2, and now I'm playing Elden Ring. Like, that's my life.
I'm glad that you have ventured into the Souls-like genre.
Same.
Please
Okay.
experience all that it has to offer.
Well, that's why I haven't beaten it. I could have gone and listened to the cheat code guides and tell me how to, like, skip through. But, like, I'm not rushing through. Like, if I don't play the DLC for a year, I don't care. I'm playing this game to play the game.
Yeah. It's the best way to go about it.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm enjoying, like, there's this thing that I found, and it's like they roll on the ground and they have like samurai heads and they have these arms that look like pizza cutters. And like, what the fuck? Who thinks of that shit?
Oh, the Iron Virgins or Abductor Virgins?
I don't know. I just was walking over this bridge and all of a sudden they started chasing me.
These things are terrifying.
Will you
Yeah.
see some of the stuff in Bloodborne?
Bro, that game still creeps me the fuck out. Those Dr. Baxter looking dudes from Ninja Turtles in Bjorgenworth, holy shit, dude. They freak me out every time.
Yeah. Where do you experience that?
Whatever the hell those fucking caterpillar things are that fucking open up the fucking space stars and start shooting meteors at you, bro. That game is out of control. That
How
game
many
is so good.
shrooms do you think you got to do to like come up with this?
Bro, FromSoft is on drugs. Like
It's gotta be.
I'm convinced their creature designers just like go in the woods and do acid for a week and then just draw. Like
They just lift
don't
up
know how.
stones and they're like,
Yeah.
this is what we see.
What if a jar had arms and legs? Oh, great idea.
Put it in.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What about you, Feta?
I don't know if it's it's to me it seems Souls-like, but there was this game that I fell in love with the art style. It's called Kena Bridge of Spirits.
Fantastic game.
Dude,
Fantastic game.
That game it got me hooked.
Yep.
Plus, like going around and finding the little, I can't remember the name, but the little forest guys, the
Rot. Yeah.
yeah.
Weird name for such a cute little thing.
I know. I guess they're black. And the whole thing is about the forest falling down because it's so corrupted. But at that game, I love that game.
So that studio, not Autumn Games, something like that.
Look it up. Ember
Labs.
Ember Lab.
So years prior, they released because they were like an animation studio first, which is why that game looks so insane. They released a trailer for a Majora's Mask like movie or game or remake or something. It was just a fan thing, but it looks unbelievable. And like when I went to play Kena, I looked at the studio and I looked at their portfolio on their website and I was like, these dudes? I understand now. It's only like a 2-minute thing, but it is so good. I think the video is called like You've Met with a Terrible Fate.
Huh.
It's so sick.
I'll check that out for sure. But
Yeah.
that's the whole thing that sold me. I know nothing about the game. I saw the art style. I was like, boom, purchased.
Yep. It's such a cool game.
So we got a question from Wargus, and I think it's a question everybody has on their mind. Is there any hope for Marcus to get good at Elden Ring?
No.
It depends.
You answered that as
I
fast
feel
as
like-
I answered Liza P.
There's a guide that's coming out very shortly from Sweet Johnny Cage that might help Marcus get better at Elden Ring.
Here's the thing. From day one to today, I'm way better. A friend of mine said, Marcus, it takes 50 hours to get good at the game. And I'm at 70, I think. Or 50,
30 more and you'll be all right.
Yeah, and I don't know where I'm at. I'm at 50 or 70 hours, but like, maybe 50. I don't know. But in this playthrough, but like, the game constantly surprises me with how awesome it is. And no matter how many times I die, I just want to go back for more. And I can't tell you how many times I've said one more pull. Last pull magic, last pull magic, last pull magic. And an hour later, I'm still pulling the boss because I'm like, just, and I get so mad. So yeah. I'll ask my own question. What is the goal for you with the new DLC? Example, your channel, the growth of the channel, and the content you're going to make.
Good question. So right now I'm at 64,000 subs. I'd really like for it to push me closer to 100K. Like, I want a play button on my wall for no other reason than I just want it. Like, it's like a nice little milestone thing. What I'm curious about is because I haven't made a ton of content in last year, like I've done, I did Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and towards the end of last year, I made a couple of guides for Mario RPG Remake. But like because I haven't been as steady, like the growth hasn't been that steady. So I'm curious if going back to Elden Ring in this fashion will kind of like push it again. I'd be really curious to see what happens there. But my overall goal is to just make, I know this sounds corny, but just like makes content that helps people. Like that's all I ever really want to do. Everything else is just sort of icing on the cake. I would really like it. So what I've noticed is like in the past 2 months as we've like begun to prepare for the DLC as a community, I looked at it this morning. My videos have gotten, just Elden Ring in general has gotten another 400 something thousand views. And it's like people are really back into this game, and I think it's drawing in a lot of new people. I'm not sure if there was like exactly. Like I'm not sure if there's like a Steam sale or something, but like I don't think that many people have forgotten how a boss goes down. Like to me, that means that it's new people. And that's what I find very exciting, is like I just want this game to do well. And like it's been 2 years is the longest we've gone without a DLC for a Souls game. I think Bloodborne was like 9 months. Dark Souls 3 might have been a year. So like I really hope it just brings in a lot more people. Yeah, I hope people just find the material helpful. I hope I can get through it. Like my goal, I took 2 weeks off work. I hope I could get through it.
A friend of mine is he's a JRPG guy, and we watch wrestling together, WWE, every Friday night and Monday. Friday night, he said to me, he goes, "Marcus, you still playing Elden Ring?" Turnip was like, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm thinking about trying it." Really?
Love it.
And he goes, "Yeah. Did you hear about this Erd Tree Shadows or Shadows on Erd Trees?" And I was like, "Shadow of the Erd Tree?" He goes, "Yeah. It's supposed to be the most amazing DLC ever created." And I'm like, "Dude, if you start playing Elden Ring now, you'll be able to play the DLC like a year and a half from now."
You never know. You can get there very fast if you know where to go.
Your first time, unless you're the most focused person on just going to story bosses, like even if you are, you don't even know how to get there. Like those stupid like arrows that come off like the graces. Like I still don't.
Yeah, they lie.
They point me in directions that I'm like, okay, dude, whatever. Like it's not pointing me anywhere.
They push you to Margit, which is
They do.
It's a lie.
Oh my
I
God, thank you.
I'm an apologist. I'm a From Software apologist, but like I think they do that to indicate to you like you've hit a wall. Go find something.
Go get
else.
better. Yeah.
Like I feel like that's why they do it, but like they really push you right to him.
Well, I'm just gonna say, FromSoft can kiss my ass because I've been trying to find a somber Smithing Stone 7 forever. And I can't fucking find the stupid thing because I'm a +7 on my Moonveil, and that's it because I can't find the somber 7.
I think 7 is past the capital.
Yeah, but like that's such bullshit. So you're telling me my sword's over leveled right now?
It's as leveled as it's going to be.
That's fucking whack. Anyway,
Gelnir might have some, but I just did the capital, and I don't think I found 7s yet. Oh. Okay, so there's 2 legacy dungeons in the capital. If you do the other one, there's 7s down there. But you're going to have... I had a hell of a time doing it last night, and I knew where to go. And it still beat the absolute bricks off me.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, have fun.
Feta.
One more poll. All right, I got a question for you three, potentially three. What are you most excited about with the first Descendant?
I already said it mine earlier.
Care to rehash that?
I'm excited for it to be I'm going to say a new Destiny style game. I'm hoping that I can play it and enjoy it, but my only concern is that I'm not going to be able to dedicate enough time to it. So where like everybody's going to be max level doing the thing and I'm going to be like level 10. You know what I mean? Because my opportunity to play video games has gone down so much because of life that I feel like it's going to be hard for me to like, I'm going to play it, but I'm not going to be able to play it as much as I want.
I'll go last.
I didn't know this game existed until you mentioned it, so I hope it's
so
fun
you're
for
excited
everybody
to
who
learn
plays
about it.
I'm excited to learn about it. I hope it's fun for everybody. I'm excited for people to enjoy this game. It does look really good. I did watch a few gameplay clips while we were doing this.
This is such a loaded question, and you know it.
That's why I put it in there. What do you mean?
So there's so much that I personally am excited for, from the closed beta and the alpha to the final technical test. Seeing this game come all the way to the point that it is now, I really am excited to get into this game with the community behind us playing this, because this is a game that if you're willing to push hard content, and I mean, like, we're talking about like Souls, like where it's one-on-one, you and a boss. No, this is a game that when you get to that higher tier, harder content, it's made to push a group of people who know what they're doing. I'm really excited to see how the community puts it together, what types of descendants that they pick, the different builds and strategies that they put together, how they push waves, get to that higher tier, just setting leaderboards and all of that, and then getting into the boss fights, because there's regular bosses. And this is what we found. It wasn't on the technical test. We only had 2 bosses that we could pull. There are so many more bosses, and they get so much harder. And to see how people overcome those challenges, and then of course you can up the difficulty on those smaller bosses, and just seeing what everyone's going to be able to do, what the builds are, what the strategies are, and having, and again, experiencing that content with everybody.
Yeah, I'll definitely echo that, because I'd say joining the podcast in an official role has pushed me to kind of explore a little bit more in the video game sense. I've always been involved with video games, but I am most excited to kind of attack this game as a group. I'm so excited for that. And, you know, luckily the nerds community is full of amazing individuals, and I just can't wait to see what comes of it.
It's going to be fun.
Quinn asks, what's the most aesthetically pleasing area in Elden Ring?
For me, it's a mix between Altus Plateau and like the capital region. This sounds like so corny, but like the music there really adds to it. It's gold. I don't want to spoil it because you haven't seen it yet. Oh no, you have seen Altus. So it's like it's gold. The way the time of day affects it kind of turns like an amber. There's like a very dark area on the ground floor of it where you have all of the, I don't know the enemy names, but like the dudes who spit worms and death blight and all that. Like that area is so dark at night. It's like pitch black, and you need the torch to really see anything. And you just like hear them crying and coughing the whole time. It like really adds to the like vibe of like, there's like an under level of this city with people who are, or a race who are just like rejected, and they've lost their home, and they're just kept down here by probably like their royalty. And then you have this gorgeous capital city up front that has its own problems. But like the music there, the horns are just like so low and drawn out, and they just sound very forlorn. And like, I remember the first time I got there, like I kind of got like choked up and like wispy eyed. Like I was like, holy shit, this is incredible. Like FromSoft has never had a region like that in any game. Like even Anor Londo in Dark Souls 1, like Dark Souls 1 does not have any music aside from boss music. There's no ambient music except for Ash Lake. It's just silent most of the time. All the noise is diegetic. So like you hear Andre the blacksmith like tinkering away. You sometimes hear enemies shifting around. You hear like maybe like birds chirping in Darkroot Garden or something. But like there's no music. And so Elden Ring was like the first one. I think with me, Sekiro might have had more music, but like everything just kind of came together in Altus. And like every time I take either the Grand Lift of Dectus up, or I go through the Secret Cavern, and you just arrive there, it's like, whoa, this place is incredible. Elfale Brace of the Halic Tree is also probably like really close second place. Really close second place for the same exact reasons.
My most aesthetically pleasing area is Caelid.
You like Caelid?
I do, because it's like you're in hell.
Yeah.
And the details of it are amazing. It's not beautiful at all, but the level design is so different than everything else.
Yeah.
That it just blows my mind.
Did you watch True Detective, the first season?
No.
So I always joke around that the music in Caelid sounds like True Detective. And True Detective is a story about like one of the most fucked up murders. It's made up, but like the story is so fucked and so dark. And it's just funny that the music sounds so similar to me. And so like you're right, like you're just like rolling through hell. And the giant birds and the dogs and everything wants to just fucking aggressively murder you, whereas in the other zones, things kind of leave you alone for the most part, but everything is up your ass in Caelid. It's so fun.
I'd have to say, it's been a while since I've been in the world of Elden Ring. I haven't been really preparing for the DLC. Like I said, there's way too many games coming out right now, and I'm just like, I know, but anyway. It's called The Underground.
Yeah.
More specifically, the Siofra River.
I just remembered that.
Oh my God, it's so beautiful. The stars on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it's such a great place to just like, I remember the first time I got there, I just like, nope, I just want to look at this.
Yeah.
And just
same
take
thing.
a moment.
I think I mentioned this the last time I was on, but I had been playing the game early, and a friend of mine had it as well, but he was holding it because he streams, whereas I do like guides, so I could just play it and hold everything for release. I had gotten down there, maybe 10 hours into the game, and I called him. I was like, I'm not telling you what I'm looking at, but just know it is literally breaking my brain what I just walked into, and I just stared at it. That is still crazy that is in that game.
I fucking hate that place because there's an area that...
How do you hate it?
No. It's beautiful, but I hate the area because I get to a spot and I can't go any further. And there's this asshole boss shooting these purple balls at me, but I can't get to this fucking asshole boss to fight him. And when I look at the map, there's no way to get around it. It just sucks ass.
Oh, that's Ainsel River. You're talking about that thing hanging from the ceiling with the
Yes.
skull?
Yeah.
That's Ainsel River.
Oh. I don't know. They're all the same to me.
There is a way to get to that.
I'm sure there is.
You can get to it. You got to climb on the structures and then around the wall.
Well, he kicks my ass when I try, so...
Yeah, he does
He's
that.
an asshole. Anyways, Quinn asks, best flavor of muffin?
Banana nut.
Ooh.
Fruit and nut. You can't beat it.
It's a really tough question.
Oh, mine's easy. Raisin bran.
I'll go last.
How old are you, Marcus?
I'm 41, but I love it. I don't know why. I just love it. Cinnamon, raisin,
I had a bowl of
bran.
Special K for dessert last night. Sometimes you just
Hell
like the
yeah.
old people shit,
Okay,
man.
okay. Special K, Raisin Bran as a cereal, god tier.
Raisin Bran Crunch, godlike.
Even better.
Raisin
Even-
nut bran is the best.
Dude, but we're talking about the cereal. You got muffins to choose from.
Dude, the muffin is delicious.
And I'll go classic with this. I'm going to go cinnamon muffin.
Mine
Like
is
a
close to
streusel
that.
top?
No. Just so, little side note here. I've been going to this local small coffee shop in my town to the point that I don't even order anymore. I just walk in and they're like, and they just hand me my stuff. I pay, walk out, and they don't buy these muffins. They make in-house these homemade cinnamon muffins. And it's just like you're a kid walking into grandma's house for the first time.
Oh, it's the best.
Mine's similar. From the East Coast, I love Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts has a coffee cake muffin.
Oh, my
Yes. Oh, baby.
Outrageous. It hurts my teeth. There's so much sugar in this shit. But if you
doesn't
toast that, if
matter.
you get them to cut it vertically and then toast it with butter, you can't eat anything for the rest of the day because a fucking million calories. But it's so fucking good.
I haven't eaten bread in so long.
I love bread.
Part of that training.
Bread's the best.
I miss it.
Keto hockey diet.
Nah. Yeah, just no.
Quinn also asks, if someone got you killed but then resurrected you, would you sass them out or be appreciative they brought you back? Reason they're asking is because they've been playing Baldur's Gate, and that's exactly what's happened to them a couple of times.
I would haunt their ass.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I would immediately haunt them.
Yeah, everybody's on the sass train. Nah, I'd be like, oh, you made a
They
mistake, but
fucking
it's
killed
okay.
you. Why would you thank them for bringing
They
you back?
brought me back. They were like, I understand I made a mistake, and here's how I'm trying to right the situation.
I assumed it was
High
like a
road.
murder situation. Like you deliberately killed them.
Oh, yeah, then no. You're getting, get a Ouija board because
Yeah.
you're going to be in for it.
Your cabinets are always going to be open.
Oh, man. That dish you really like to eat your dinner off of? Goodbye.
Oh, man. So when I'm really pissed off, or not pissed off, just aggravated, and like it's due to whatever family drama my wife is causing me, it drives her crazy. I open up every kitchen cabinet door and drawer, and I'll go down in the basement to play with the kids because it fucking drives her crazy. And she'll come in the kitchen and every fucking door and drawer is open and she'll lose her shit. It's actually pretty funny. I don't know. Anyways, Goldie asks, what's your opinion on pineapple on pizza? Yes.
No.
Get out of here.
I'm from New York. You don't ask these questions. We have the pizza under control. You don't need to fuck with it. Just do what we're doing.
No.
The taste is insane. Like it's
Perfect.
it's cheese, sauce,
There's no
and
way
bread.
to describe it, man.
What are you doing?
It tastes
Fruit?
like heaven.
No, it
Yes.
tastes disgusting. I don't even like pepperoni on pizza. Just give me a good
Whoa.
plain cheese pizza. If you can't handle that as a pizza maker, you shouldn't be making pizza.
Okay. I'm with you on the cheese has to be solid. If I'm going to a pizza joint, I'm getting a cheese no matter what. And then I'm experimenting to see like what you can do.
If I'm going to Domino's, sure. Whatever.
I think pineapple could be on pizza if it was like that thick, greasy Greek shit. You know
I'll
what I
put it on
mean? Where it's
anything.
almost like bready.
Sure.
Maybe.
No, it belongs every time.
You're not getting a
Thin
New
crust,
Haven style.
deep dish.
No.
Connecticut style. I don't care. Detroit
Nope.
style. It belongs on there.
You can put it on Detroit. Detroit is like known for crazy toppings.
Heck, I'll even order it in New York.
It's
You
circumstantial,
will get
and you won't
thrown
be able
out.
to find
They
it.
won't have it. They won't. We don't have pineapple on pizza.
You'd have to go
And
to
if
the
they
bodega
do,
and get
don't go
pineapple.
there. Go to a different pizza joint 5 minutes away.
I hear so much hype about New York pizza. I was in New York for 24 hours, stopped in, got a whole damn pie, and was immediately disappointed.
Where was this
Wait, where'd
from?
you go?
I don't even remember. It was some corner place that was open 24 hours. It was on our way
There
out.
you
You're
go.
going
You
to
got to
the
be
corner
drunk
place.
for that.
No,
hang
no.
up.
You can't say, "Oh, New York's got the best pizza," just not there.
It's like saying
just-
there's shitty restaurants in Italy. Like it's not the
You could have
Italian
bad
food capital. of the
gelato.
world. Like yeah, there's shit restaurants everywhere.
So there's a bunch of questions for each individual. So we'll just pick one and cross it off and go through the list. Doritos asks, Sweet Johnny Cage, what is the worst video game advice you've ever received?
Advice.
Yep.
Advice.
He don't need no advice.
No.
What
that's
is
not
the
true.
worst advice he's ever gotten for a video game?
Advice.
I wonder if this would branch into like the realm of gaming recommendations as well.
That I have. So
Hit
I
us.
don't know. So when I was like, this is just bad information. Okay, actually, no. Sorry. On recommendations, there was a game on 360 called Two Worlds.
I
A friend
remember
of
that
mine
game.
was hyping this game up to me for months. And I bought
awful.
it, and I called him, and I was like, I think this might be the worst game ever created. And I was able to return it to GameStop for a cash refund. And the dude at the counter had a stack of them of returns. And he was like, just tell me it's broken. That's all you need to say. Just tell me it is broken, John, and I'll give you your money back. And the game was fucking horrific. If you ever watch a speed run for this game, it's like 5 minutes long because the final boss of the game is 2 minutes away from the first town, and you can just kite him into the town and the guards kill him for you. Like, that's not like a bonus feature. That's just a fucking horrific design. The game sucks. It has disc loading, like icons, when you open the first door. Imagine playing Elden Ring. Granted, this is 15 years removed from Two Worlds. But imagine playing Elden Ring, going to lift the door to get into Limgrave, and it fucking hangs. The game freezes, and a disc icon shows up in the bottom right-hand corner. That was not happening on Xbox 360 except in Two Worlds. That game was horrific. I did have somebody in Funko Land when I was like 10 or 9. We went to buy a memory card for PlayStation 1 because we had just beaten the first World of Crash Bandicoot, me and a friend of mine, and needed to save. We like begged his stepdad to take us to buy a memory card. And the guy behind the counter told me that Zelda 64, it wasn't even called Ocarina of Time yet. He's like, Zelda 64 is canceled. Nintendo going out of business. It's happening. And I was like 9. And I was like, I think you're full of shit, dude. Like, I don't believe you. But it kind of did scare me. It never happened, obviously. But yeah, that was like the worst gaming news anybody ever gave me.
I can't believe you just said Funko Land. That brought me back.
I'm old.
That brought me back. Oh my God. I need a minute.
Well, you take your minute there. Doritos, next question for you is, which is better, hamburger or pizza?
I would say I crave pizza more than hamburgers, so I'll just go with pizza. Living in LA, I kind of can't get good pizza, so hamburgers.
Feta.
Yeah.
Why are skulls the best part of Warhammer?
Skulls are metal, dude. Nothing. I have nothing else to say. They're just metal.
All right, then. Fair enough. Marcus.
Yeah.
Feta, you need to jump in with somebody's question. God damn. It's a podcast.
Dude, I told you I needed a minute after the Funko Land comment. You said take your minute, and then 45 seconds after, you expect me to ask a working class question.
Exactly. You had 15 seconds. God damn.
And you couldn't wait.
No, I can't wait. See, this is what happens. You get on the show, Marcus starts jumping in. You got to just like find your window and just take it. Anyway, Marcus, with shifting focus to working class nerds YouTube content, what does your correct crystal ball prognosticate for future published content other than the podcast?
When I go to Lindell in the city, I am going to screen record my playthrough, and I'm going to learn how to cut said video and release. Well, I'm going to first learn how to cut it and then make a video of a clear. But then my dream is to make a 2-minute video of the pain of me dying and like the sound that it makes when you die, the ah. But I want to make like a beat remix of it, like because I'm going to die so many times fighting a boss, and then I'm going to clear it, and you're going to see, that's when you're actually going to, I'll turn on the camera for my clear, and you'll see me go fucking bananas, because no matter whether I'm in front of people streaming or not, I'm always, like, when I beat the boss, I freak out. So that's like my dream. I got DaVinci Resolve. I've made a couple shorts, but like I really want to do a little more. But even if it's just me screen recording and posting the video of me doing it, the reason why YouTube is just so I can spend, so everything for the working class nerds can be in one place. I don't want to have to tell people to go to Kick or Twitch to watch me stream once in a great while. Hey, you want to see me on Tuesday nights? I'm live on YouTube. You know, I don't care if there's nobody watching. I'm still going to be playing.
Hey, Rayu.
Yo.
Why is your gaming handle Rayu?
That's a good question.
Oh, man. The simple answer is it's just a jumble of my last name.
All right.
Now I'm trying to guess what your last name is.
Oh, don't worry. There are some letters thrown in there to throw in.
Okay.
It's the only one that made sense.
His real last name is Thick Dick.
Esquire.
Esquire.
Went to law school. It's Esquire.
It's Esquire.
Oh shit. Sweet Johnny Cage, is it necessary to prep in game for Shadow of the Erdtree?
Depends on what you've done. Like, that sounded dark and like sinister. What have you done?
How have you prepared before the preparing?
The requirement is that you have to kill Moog, Lord of Blood. So whatever gets you there, you'll have to do. If you've already done it, cool. Just wait. That's really the only serious requirement. I believe they recommended being around level 120 or 150 or something like that. But other than that, maybe have a plus 25 weapon or a plus 10 weapon if you're using like a special weapon. Maybe have that. I would say like prepare to have an open mind because there's going to be a lot of new weapon types, a lot of new spells. There's going to be a lot of things to try. So like they're in the game. Try them. I'm sure there's new summons, new everything, which is why I think they're doing that like split stats to like make sure that you are encouraged to go along these routes. Yeah, go in with an open mind and be open to new ways of play.
Rayu, which is better, barbecue sauce, ketchup, mustard, or vinegar based?
I'm going to correct that question.
Yeah, we need to.
It's asking about the base of the barbecue. So you have a barbecue based, a ketchup based, a vinegar based, or a mustard based. The correct answer is vinegar based.
Yes.
If you're doing anything else, you're doing it wrong.
Are you from the Carolinas?
I am born and raised from North Carolina.
Yeah,
He
I
a
can tell.
country boy. His
Are
belt
you
buckle
are you
is
from
as big
East
as your
Carolina?
shoes.
I am from a small town called Beaufort, North Carolina, home to one Edward Teach, Blackbeard. That's my hometown.
I lived in Charlotte for a few years, so I got a very aggressive crash course of what is proper barbecue. And I completely agree with you that vinegar base is everything else sucks.
That's awesome.
His belt buckle is the size of your shoe.
Oh, okay. They don't have those in Charlotte.
No. You know, it's funny you say that. I'm not too far from the city, and I hate it. I hate every bit of it. I don't want to go near it. Nope, I'll stay in the country. I appreciate it out here.
I'm looking on a map where this is now.
Yeah, it is. If you ever heard of the Outer Banks of North Carolina,
OBX.
about as close as you can get to it without being on it.
I had friends from Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah. Jacksonville's a nice place. I like going there.
Is this near Wilmington?
Nope, further north.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I see it now. I see it. Okay.
Wilmington's trash.
Feta.
Dang.
Only town I've ever been to where there's literally two sides of the tracks, and it is exactly what you think it is.
Yep.
I always thought that was just a catchphrase.
Oh, man. There's a town just outside of Charlotte. It's called Gastonia.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You hit the tracks. You know you hit the tracks.
Yes. That place is next level.
Feta is feta your cheese? Is feta cheese your favorite kind of cheese? If not, then what is?
It is not my favorite kind of cheese. My favorite kind of cheese would be a Vermont sharp cheddar.
Nice
It's
Cabot.
delicious. I eat it by the brick.
The brick.
Hey,
Body
Marcus.
built by cheese.
Yeah.
Marcus. Mm-hmm. And I love this question. Will we get a Working Class Nerds host hamburger cook-off or a Cooking with the Nerds segment of Working Class Nerds content?
So I would have said yes 9 months ago, but now that Nick is completely in Imperial prison and locked down, I don't think he would be able to get together to cook it off. So it would have to be me and Feta that do it.
And he doesn't want to lose head to head.
What are you talking about? Lose head to head? What?
In the burger cook off.
I would not lose, bro.
Okay.
My smash burgers are amazing.
All right, buddy.
Oh, Marcus, I can make a smash burger.
Do you know what Marcus also eats?
Lamb.
Bananas wrapped in American cheese. What do you think about that, Johnny? Should a banana ever be wrapped in a piece of American cheese?
A banana's already wrapped in a banana peel. What else do you fucking need to wrap it?
American cheese, apparently.
What does that even taste like?
Amazing. I want you to fucking try it, okay?
This burger is going to taste like dick. What? God.
Last week,
But
we
that's
had-
it's like two completely different
So-
tastes. Like they
all
don't
right, so-
complement each other. First of all, American cheese is chemicals. So like
Well,
you're
no.
not getting cheese.
You gotta eat.
All the benefits of your banana are out the window.
So you have to use like 100 like Boar's Head or Cooper's, where we live, is 100% real cheese. It's not fake.
That's just more expensive than the plastic.
So
why am I wasting it on a banana?
When I was a kid, I don't know what made me do it. I did it, and it tastes delicious. It's like a sweet and salty kind of thing.
No,
kind of like pineapple on your pizza.
No,
I fucking
no.
hate you guys.
This is
there is no
Dude,
sweet and salty with that bullshit.
I let a lot of shit go, Marcus, but this is not one of the things.
no.
Just telling you what was one of my snacks when I was a kid. All right, Sweet Johnny Cage, what's your favorite type of waffle?
Ooh. Low key, Waffle House.
Do you get it with peanut butter chips?
I've done that before. I usually just go plain. My Waffle House order is either a steak melt with throw some hot sauce on there, cheese, obviously, onions. I don't really like doing things capped, not big into mushrooms. Maybe hash with cheese, and then either chocolate chips or just plain. I mean, Waffle House butter and syrup is just like, I know it's probably chemicals, but holy shit, it's just so good. And
I've
it just
never
hits.
been to a Waffle House.
That whole
Holy
place is smothered and
fuck,
covered, dude.
Bro, my introduction to Waffle House was at a fighting game tournament in Atlanta, Georgia called Final Round. There was a
God
Waffle
damn.
House across the street from the hotel that we were playing in. And, bro, these fucking waitresses fucking hated our guts because we were loud-ass gamers coming in there. Most people were drunk at 3 in the morning, and they had to put up with us. But we tipped real well, and they liked us by the third day. But it's just the most ratchet establishment you've ever... Bro, Waffle House, the most requested stage for the director of Tekken to put into Tekken is a Waffle House. Like,
I can't. Oh my god.
I am not kidding you. If you go to Harada's Twitter account, like the other day, he was asking, and he's like this Japanese man, so he's like, what is the deal? Like, why do you want this? And he's like linking videos of Waffle House brawls, and he's like, what is happening in the United States that people are fighting in this restaurant? Like, why are there so many videos of this? Like, what is wrong with you people? But yeah, Waffle House
Tekken
waffles
Waffle
just
House?
hit.
Dude, Waffle House is just...
It's consistent. You know what you're getting.
It's just like McDonald's. You know what that
Look-
McDouble's going to look like.
In Boston or near Boston, do y'all have a Waffle House?
Absolutely not.
God damn it!
We got to
Waffle-
travel for a Waffle House.
Look, we're gonna find some way to get y'all down south so
It's
you
like
can
Cracker Barrel.
experience.
Like, it doesn't start till like Western Pennsylvania or Virginia. Like, there's none in Maryland. There may be one in Maryland, like southern
not.
Maryland. No?
No, you got to go past the Mason-Dixon
Okay,
line.
yeah.
Yeah, see, when you're drunk or it's really late and you're just craving,
Bro, I am stone cold sober. I don't drink. I fucking love Waffle House,
you
bro.
need the Waffle
You are
House.
denying
It's-
reality if you say it's trash.
It's Denny's, but kicked up to 11.
No, throw Denny's in the trash.
That's what
Waffle
I'm
House
saying.
is better.
I'm making a comparison to us Eastern folk who are completely disparaged by the lack of Waffle House.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, I drive by it on the highway when I'm driving to Kansas City or Florida. But
Bro,
like,
those
Oh, you
yellow and
dirtbag,
black
stop.
letters. You
Those
gotta-
yellow
you
and
gotta
black
go.
letters, they're home.
Oh. Bro, the National Weather Service has a Waffle House rating of, like, if Waffle House closes, that storm is going to be ballistic. Like, Waffle House never closes. It is the epicenter of a town. The National Weather Service uses them as a barometer.
I have more reliable news from the Waffle House
Exactly.
than any news broadcast.
Bro, they give you an attitude, they cook your food, they throw it at you, and you leave. Like, it's just... I once went to a Waffle House in Atlanta that had a security guard. Like, we walked in, this, like, 70-year-old waitress was not having any of it, and we walked in very normal. But I think, like, a house party was going on nearby because 15 minutes after we walked in, the place was fucking packed. And the security guard had, like, gray sweats on and then just a black security t-shirt on over it. So maybe he was security, maybe he wasn't, but he stood by the door the whole time. They wouldn't give us silverware. We had to eat with plastic utensils, like prison. And then, like, we could not sit more than 4 to a booth. The lady was, like, yelling at us to stop turning around and talking to each other. this was the most militant Waffle House ever, but it was just so legendary. And then there was this like old couple in their 80s who probably just came from a fucking funeral or a wake or something, and they had to put up with everything. And it's the most magical place on earth, Waffle House. It's incredible.
Wow.
You ever seen the comedian Jeff Dunham? He does a skit with this one puppet, Walter. And he has this one...
Walter.
Fucking hilarious. And he has this one bit where he's talking about, being a Walmart greeter. Waffle House is the epitome of get your shit and get out.
Yes. They hate you.
And you pay for it.
And
Yes.
every cook there can throw down. Like, you do not want to fuck with these people. You will lose that fight every time.
On the job description, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. Like,
Yes.
you have to be, like, an amateur boxer, something.
Yes. Yeah. It's an incredible place.
Well, Mr. Cage, and I have another question to add after this question. What is your least favorite video game genre?
I don't dislike a genre, but I don't play sports games really. And like strategy games. I just could never really... Like, Age of Empires I liked for the history. Is the only RTS game I could ever really play. I find them very daunting, and, like, I just don't have the mental bandwidth to get into something like that.
That's fair. The extra question. The name Sweet Johnny Cage, is it after the Mortal Kombat character?
Yes and no. My name is John. Some of my friends call me Johnny. I once walked into an arcade wearing sunglasses, and a friend of mine just turned around, saw me, and yelled, "Sweet Johnny Cage." And it just stuck.
That's awesome.
As simple as that.
This question's for all of us. If a studio could remake/remaster one game from Gen Alpha or Beta consoles, NES, SNES, Sega Genesis, what would it be and why? Oh, mine is
Never heard them referred
Battletoads.
to that. Never heard them referred to as Gen Alpha.
What does that make Atari?
Right.
Kaka.
Like, they go by numbers. Well, anyway.
Mine would be Battletoads.
Did you play
music
the
is like-
one that came out a few years ago?
No?
Check that out. It's very good. I think it was 2019, 2018. It was
2020.
PC and Xbox.
Battletoads on Steam.
It's really good. And it has a speeder bike level. So there's a fan project happening right now where somebody's remaking Zelda 1 in the style of the Switch remake of Link's Awakening.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So, like, if Nintendo would ever go back and do that, I think that'd be a lot of fun. I would love to see a modern take on Castlevania. Like, I feel like we got it with Bloodstained because it was Koji Igarashi who directed Symphony of the Night and a few others. But, like, I don't know, just like going back and playing Rondo of Blood, which was on PC Engine or TurboGrafx, like, was nice, but, like, they tried Lords of Shadow. They tried Mirror of Fate, I think it was, which was Lords of Shadow, but 2.5D, but it kind of sucked. Like, I would really
Lords of
like to
Shadow
see
was good.
something. I didn't like
Lords
it.
of Shadow was good.
I didn't
The
like it.
first one.
Bro, the final boss of that is Satan, and you fight him with his dick out.
I know.
What the
That's
fuck
why
is
it's
that?
awesome.
The whole game is teasing Dracula, and no, that's not a Castlevania game. I'm not going to say why.
A Castlevania game is meant to be 2D.
No, I don't even think that. Like,
I do.
there is so you haven't played Bloodborne yet.
Nope.
And for anybody here, has anybody here played Bloodborne? Okay. Ryu, I bet you know what I'm thinking of. There is a section of Bloodborne that says to me From Software wants to make Castlevania. And it's,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And the whole 3 hours or whatever I was in that place, I was like, Konami is fucking up. Because From Software can make a Castlevania.
And they'd make a damn good one,
Yes,
too.
they would. Because Elden Ring has good whip weapons, so they're already halfway there. You've got the guns, you've got the shinobi prosthetics from Sekiro, you've got the throwing stars, the axe. Like, they literally have the components of Castlevania.
Just give it holy water.
That's all it needs. Chuck a Bible in there.
Done.
Whatever the diamond thing is from Symphony of the Night, I've never really understood that one.
What game would you guys remake?
I'm kind of lucky because they just redid F-Zero, and my ultimate one
That's
is...
SNES, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, well...
Well, it was in
just-
the list.
Was it?
Oh, Super Nintendo was in this list?
Yeah, Super Nintendo was in the list, too.
Oh, that changes my
I mean-
opinion now.
The other one is kind of sort of remake-ish, but Metroid Dread.
Ooh,
It
good
drew
game.
enough back to Super Metroid that I was kind of satisfied, but not entirely.
Dread was really good. Did you ever play it on hard mode?
I didn't even beat it the first time, man.
Oh, hard mode
I'm
is
stuck
like,
on that
it's where
Chozo
it's at.
statue, I think.
Bro, I got guides for it if you want.
I know, I'm so excited.
Shameless little plug for you.
No, don't worry. You don't think the second I opened up your page and saw Metroid Dread, I wasn't locked in?
That game
Elden Ring was
slaps.
about to get trashed. I'm going back for
Dread was
that.
so good. Dread was so good. You know what's shocking? To tie this all together, Mercury Steam, who made Dread, made Lords of Shadow. How they went from that garbage to making Dread, I will never know.
I'm glad I didn't know that until just now.
It is incredible what that team did.
What about you, Ray? What game would you remake?
I mean, I'm showing my age. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't born at this point. I was born at the tail end of this generation. My first console was the original PlayStation. Like, I had friends that had, like, Sega Genesis and some of the older consoles, but
What was the first game you played?
first game I ever played was... Oh, man. I can't remember the name of it. I can describe it. I just can't remember the name.
It was a PlayStation 1 game?
And old school was the first ever. Oh, there it is. All-Star Slam and D-Ball. It was a dodgeball bit game that there were characters that had weird little animations. Like one guy had a boombox that he had like a power-up. He'd load it in like a cannon and shoot it at somebody.
I've never even heard of this game.
And I found this at like the back wall of like this old electronics store, and I was like, and I went up to my parents like, can I get this? They're like, okay, fine. And I played the hell out of it. I think I played it till the actual console broke.
Wow. Never even heard of this.
Yeah, it was such a fun game. If I could say, like, at least for my time, I wish they would remake that game. That would be fun.
Have you ever played a game called Windjammers? Mm-mm. Similar vibes, but it's a Frisbee game, but it gets off the rails.
Oh, okay.
They just they remade it a couple years ago, then they just put out a sequel.
I'll have to look at it.
Interesting.
Which is the better tater salad, white or yellow?
Neither.
Yeller.
Yeah, whatever one has eggs.
German potato salad is the yellow one.
Mm-hmm. That's
I don't-
delish.
I don't eat potato salad.
Same.
Okay. We have our sides
God,
of
this
the
again.
debate for pineapple pizza. It totally belongs on there, he says. But what about pineapple on a hamburger?
Is that
Sure.
a thing, dude?
Yeah.
I'll let you guys go first.
I feel like hamburger is more acceptable to experiment on. For I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just very protective of pizza, but yeah. I mean, you put eggs on burgers now. Like,
That's different though.
I don't think I'm letting it
Okay.
on there, man.
I'm gonna go in the Wayback Machine, okay? So 10 years ago I married my wife and our honeymoon was 3 weeks. We did 5 days in Disney and then we did almost 2.5 weeks in Mexico.
pineapple
I
and
drank-
burritos.
Huh?
Have you had pineapple in burritos?
Yes, it's delicious.
Yep.
So every day you knew it was lunchtime because you could smell them grilling pineapples. So I would get myself out of the cabana on the beach, stumble over with a Mai Tai in my hand, and get a burger with a pineapple on it. It was the best burger I've ever eaten.
Pineapple adds like a lot of it like cuts through grease. Like it's just it's so nice. Maybe that's why people like it on pizza, maybe, but if you're having greasy pizza, that's a problem. Like I'm always gonna go against this.
What I like about with pineapple on pizza, like pineapple and pepperoni, you get the sweet and salty mix, and it's really good. I'm not the biggest fan of the Hawaiian. Like it's good, but like it's okay. But pineapple and pepperoni is fucking amazing.
I feel like pepperoni's too greasy. I always feel like I'm about to like break out when I have pepperoni.
Yeah, pepper. I won't go with the pepperoni and pineapple. I do black olive and pineapple.
Whoa! Whoa!
Okay.
Whoa.
No.
Uh-huh.
Sidebar here. The reason now I had never ever done it before. I had only ever had the Hawaiian style with the ham and the pineapple. I'd only ever had that. Deadpool, the first Deadpool movie. There is a scene. Ryan Reynolds is opening the door at the guy sitting there, or I'm sorry, he's in the guy's toilet. The pizza man goes to the door, is arguing with the guy. He comes out, and I believe it had bacon, black olive, and pineapple. I thought that is the weirdest combination of pizza, but it has to be good. I ordered it. That is my go-to order ever since. It's so good. But yes, I will do a pineapple on a burger.
Next question.
The last one from Duft. Do you feel AI will replace you or your work?
No.
Nope.
AI is it's just like machines. They're only as good as the person putting the information in. So like AI in the gaming space is used for like very boring work that like allows someone to do better work. But like it can't code for you. Like it can't do it. You can instruct it to do something, but it's going to do it in the worst possible way.
And you still have to prompt it with the idea.
Right. You basically have to do the work anyway.
I don't know. They're trying with AI nurses.
God
I don't know
help
how I
us.
feel about it.
My thing is there are so many sci-fi movies that we see what happens when robots take over.
Yeah.
Did you not see iRobot?
Hey,
Why are
It's
we
coming
trying?
for you.
All I'm going to tell you guys is Elon Musk is Skynet.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of Working Class Nerds.